Will the council meeting of April 4th, 2025 please come to order? It is now 9:03 a.m. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, proceeding with roll call. We only have, I think, 2 members that are participating online, so if you could please just let us know if you are alone in your space or with an adult. You do not need to identify minors. Councilmember Pro Tempore Tasha Kama.
Aloha kakayaka Chair and Anyang Asayo.
Vice Chair Yuki Lei Sugimura.
Anyang Asayo. Good morning, everybody. Looking forward to a very productive meeting.
Thank you.
Councilmember Tamara Paulton.
Aloha kakayaka and anyang haseo kako.
Very good, you guys. Okay.
Councilmember Gabe Johnson.
Aloha Chair, council members, community members. There's no testifiers at the Lanai District Office. And Anyang Haseyao. Thank you, Chair.
Councilmember Keani Rollins Fernandez.
Aloha kakahiaka Chair, my Molokai Nui Hina. It's wonderful to be home after a week of being on Maui. There are currently no testifiers at the Molokai District Office, and I am home alone. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Councilmember Tom Cook.
Anyang Asayo, Aloha Friday. And there's currently no testifiers at the Kihei office, but Bill Snipes is on hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Nohelani U'uhajins.
Good morning, everyone. Anyang Aseho.
Councilmember Shane Sinensi.
Aloha kakayaka kako, my Maui Hikina, and Anyang Haseo here at the Hana District Office with District Staff Member Don Lono, and there are no testifiers, Chair.
And Council Chair Alice Lee.
Anyang Haseo.
Chair, you have a quorum present to conduct the business of the council. For the record, I am the county clerk, Moana Ludi, and also who will be here sitting next to me on my left will be the deputy clerk, Rochelle Thompson. Our legislative staff is here supporting this meeting. We've got Joyce Morishige, Lauren Saldana, Del Yoshida, and Arthur Suyama. And joining the meeting from the Office of Council Services is the Director, David Rotz, and Legislative Attorney, Carla Nakata.
Well, it's my turn to provide opening remarks, and I try to keep it simple and more along the lines of a prayer. And so this is something I read somewhere. I'm not sure who the author is, but it says here, always live your life in harmony and balance. Take time to think. It is the source of power. Take time to pray. It is the greatest power on earth. Take time to love and be loved. It is a God-given privilege. Take time to be friendly. It is the road to happiness. Take time to laugh. It is the music of the soul. Take time to give. It is too short a day to be selfish. Take time to play. It is the secret of perpetual youth. Take time to work. It is the price of success. And now, please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Before we proceed with today's agenda, may I please request that everyone keep their microphones muted unless it's your turn to speak. As a reminder, testimony must pertain to items on the meeting agenda. When testifying, please direct your remarks to the council and not to any individual council member or member of the public. Each testifier will be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes on each item. For individuals wishing to testify on Teams, please click the raise your hand button to be added to the testifier log. If you are calling in, please follow the phone prompts to be added to the log. Decorum shall be maintained at all times. Any person who behaves in a manner that disrupts, disturbs, or impedes the orderly conduct of any council meeting can, at the discretion of the presiding officer, or a majority of present council members, be ejected or banned from council meetings. or if participating remotely, muted or dropped from the meeting. Examples of disruptive behavior include but are not limited to heckling, shouting, use of profanity, threatening or slanderous remarks to any member of the council, staff, or general public. Ms. Clerk, please proceed.
Chair, thank you. At this time, we'll be taking testimony solely on our ceremonial resolutions. If there's anyone who would like to testify on the ceremonial resolution, I'm looking at the crowd to my left. This would be your opportunity. There's currently no one else signed up to testify. It doesn't look like we have a taker, Chair. Oh, it looks like Mr. Law is making his way to the podium. And he would be our only testifier.
Chair, is this the resolution 2584 part?
Yes.
Ho'o mai JC la kula o ka wai ko ahopua aloha ka'aha o ke kalana o Maui. And the library people, I don't know how to say library in Hawaiian. I love my librarian too. I had one. My testimony with the libraries is that when I got here, I went to the Kahului Library several years ago, and they asked me for an address, and I gave them the address from the Salvation Army, 45 West Kamehameha Street. And she said, "Do you get your mail there?" And I said, "No, because Mark Saxon has enough mail coming through there that he's got to handle." So she said, "Well, you can't get a library card then." So I said, "Okay." So I did get a library card, but it got rejected because I had my book in my bag and it got some orange juice on it. And instead of tearing out the first page, it was a blank page. I was honest, and I went back to the librarian to see if I could pay my fines. And she was having a medical problem. Her name is, well, I won't even mention her name. I didn't find out till later she had a medical problem. And then she said I had to pay $40, and I said, "Well, can I have the book after I pay the fine?" She said, "No, we have to destroy it." So that's how.
JC, we're talking about congratulating a different librarian today.
Right. I'm getting to that point. Yeah. I know it's all about time. I heard that part. So I'm trying to make like an uncomfortable matter into something nice here, because the person that I have a big pilikio with is here in the audience. The head librarian for the state, so that's why. Hold on, Mr. Cook, I'm getting to the punchline. So, no more, the long story short, no more library card and no more book of Chinese Americans that I really liked. And then, so I've been having problems with the library. So then went to the Wailuku Library, then COVID hit. And then I didn't like the procedures of that, so something happened with the head librarian there. And I got banned from the library without any trial or any kind of hearing to yeah, with no access or nothing. So I love Jessica Gleason too, and I appreciate the council giving me the time, because I don't think you can get in trouble for saying I love somebody. But I love Allison Constanza even more.
Thank you. Questions? No questions. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is Resolution 2584, congratulating Jessica Gleason for receiving the 2025 I Love My Librarian Award.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
I move to adopt Resolution 2584.
Second.
Moved by Vice Chair Sugimura, seconded by Pro Tem Kama, to adopt Resolution 2584. Discussion. Vice Chair Sugimura.
Please read the resolution in its entirety, Clerk.
Ms. Clerk.
Thank you. Resolution number 2584, congratulating Jessica Gleason for receiving the 2025 I Love My Librarian Award. Whereas Jessica Gleason, Wailuku Public Library Bookmobile Librarian, received the I Love My Librarian Award and was honored at the American Library Association's LibLearnX, the Library Learning Experience in January 2025. And whereas the I Love My Librarian Award recognizes the accomplishments of exceptional librarians, and whereas more than 1,000 library users submitted stories highlighting how their librarians had gone above and beyond the call of the duty in their communities, and whereas Jessica Gleason was one of the 10 national recipients of this year's I Love My Librarian Award, and whereas each nominee must be a librarian with a master's degree from a program accredited by the American Library Association or the Council for the Accreditation of Educator Preparation and working in a public library or a library at an accredited school, and whereas Jessica received her Master of Library Science degree in 2007, and in 2016 she became Bookmobile Librarian for the Holo Holo Bookmobile, a vehicle based at the Wailuku Public Library that provides equal access to library material and services throughout the island. And whereas Jessica sprang into action after the devastating August 8, 2023 wildfires that left Lahaina without its library, and whereas less than a month after the wildfires, Jessica brought the Holo Holo Bookmobile to West Maui and worked with shopping centers, schools, churches, hotels, and government agencies to provide books, internet access, and educational programming. And whereas one of her nominators wrote, amid all the uncertainty, fear, and grief in the aftermath of Maui's 2023 wildfires, Jessica has been a steadying presence and force for positive action among her colleagues and her community members. And she continues to work in and with Maui's West Side community, developing connections that are helping so many heal and grow beyond their tragic losses. And whereas Jessica anticipated and impacted families' needs and provided them with joy and a sense of normalcy with her bookmobile, and whereas Jessica was previously awarded the 2019 Librarian of the Year by the Friends of the Library of Hawaii, and whereas she continues to exemplify exceptional service for the people of the County of Maui, now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the County of Maui, 1, that it congratulates Jessica Gleason for receiving the 2025 I Love My Librarian Award, and 2, that certified copies of this resolution be transmitted to Jessica Gleason, Leslie Berger, American Library Association, Interim Executive Director, American Association, Stacy A. Aldrich, State Librarian, Hawaii State Public Library System, Lynn Hiyakumoto, President, Friends of the Library of Hawaii, Nainoa Mao, Executive Director, Friends of the Library of Hawaii, Flo Weiger, President, Maui Friends of the Library, Roy M. Takumi, Chairperson, Board of Education, State of Hawaii, and the Honorable Richard T. Bisson Jr., Mayor, County of Maui.
Discussion?
Thank you very much. Wow, what an awesome person. And she's related to you, Chair.
She's my niece. Yeah.
She's your niece, yeah. I saw Gary coming up the elevator, and he said he's here. I thought he would.
Her father and mother are here.
Ah, very wonderful. But what a person, right? The disaster was terrible for everybody, but it takes those kinds of angels, I call them, that's going to rise in the distress to figure out how to make life better. And I think she's a perfect example of the angels that I have seen that helped many that were distressed after the August 23rd wildfire. So members, I would like to ask all of you to support this resolution. It is very special. Not only is it Chair Lee's relative, but we are able to exemplify how special Maui is. And I would like to ask at the appropriate time to please send a copy of the resolution to the governor of the state of Hawaii so he can see how special Maui is. And this is part of the state library system. So thank you. Members, I look for your support.
Member Walton.
Thank you, Chair. I also would like to express my gratitude. My son utilized the bookmobile at Napili Park, and we didn't lose our house, but my kids didn't go back to school for a long time, and in the beginning when there wasn't any internet or anything, it was, I guess the silver lining was that, all the kids were out in the street at the park. They met all the kids from our neighborhood and the next neighborhood over and the next neighborhood over. And the days that the Holo Holo bookmobile were able to come to Napili in the early times, we knew, so it was a help. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. I want to rise in full support and congratulating Mrs. Gleason. And, you know, everybody has a story about a librarian. I guess for me personally, I was 7 years old and my mom was a single mom and she had to work till about 5, 6 o'clock, but I got out of school to 3 o'clock and she couldn't afford a babysitter, so she would send me to the library. And it paid off in spades because what would happen is I read a lot and then I went on to study in college as an English degree because of my love of reading, and that's what fostered it. So I want to thank her for helping out everybody who she has, and it's such an important institution in our community. Thank you so much, Chair.
Oh, nice story.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I just want to say that our family has been proud of this young woman since she was born. She has been exceptional, an exceptional human being. And I'd like to embarrass my brother and sister-in-law right now. Please stand so you can be recognized. This is Gary and Donna Lee from Pukalani. Thank you. Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries.
Aye.
Thank you. And now, could you, Jessica, come up to the microphone and say a few words? But before you do that, I just have to do one thing. Members, any objections to closing public testimony and accepting any written testimony? So ordered.
Mahalo, mahalo to the council for this great honor and recognition. I could not do this work without the support of my colleagues, family, and friends who showed up in spades today. Thank you so much. Thank you for showing me I am enough always, and I am worthy of love and care. I'm proud to be a part of the Hawaii State Public Library system and to be working alongside passionate, skilled, and caring people. Since 2016, the Holo Holo Bookmobile has supported the lifelong learning needs of the Maui community from Keiki to Kupuna by providing outreach services, including access to library materials and programs to underserved and underserved communities, institutions, and individuals. The very nature of outreach is to meet people where they are at, physically, geographically, personally, emotionally. In the aftermath of disaster, showing up and being present is the most important work library staff and anyone in our helping community does. A steady, reliable, consistent presence is grounding, reassuring, and builds trust. I wanted to share, with permission, some quotes that I gathered for an article, but I hope they gave me permission, and these are Bookmobile patrons and families, if I may.
Sure.
The first one is a quote from Megan Hefner. She was a previous Lahaina Library patron and now a Bookmobile patron. She said, quote, "The Lahaina Library was a very special place for our family. After the fire, we were so grateful when the Holo Holo Bookmobile started visiting the West Side. The Bookmobile has become such a light in our week and is a place we run into old friends and make new ones. Mahalo to the Bookmobile team for everything you do." I want to, at this moment, also acknowledge the Bookmobile team. Michael Tinker is our Bookmobile driver, who we couldn't go anywhere without Tinker. He goes by Tinker. Chad Holbrun, who is the Lahaina Library manager, and also Peggy Taves, who is a substitute library technician, and myself comprise the team that has been going out since 3 weeks post-fire. The other part of this service that we offer, thanks to a partnership with the state judiciary, is the use of Lahaina District Court's multipurpose room. And with the help of state law librarian Jenny Sibliger, sorry if I mispronounced your name, Jenny, who reached out to me one day and called me and said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Well, this is how we're doing." And she said, "Let me see, I have an idea." And she worked with Judge Cahill and said, "How about we arrange for you to use the multipurpose room?" So since March of 2024, we've been holding weekly story times at Lahaina District Court's multipurpose room, and it has become a beloved time for families. It has meant so much to create a safe, welcoming space that nurtures early literacy, a love of reading and learning, and fosters connection among parents and caregivers. Right now, outside on your front lawn, we have the celebration of the month of the young child, and Family Hui Hawaii is hosting this. They are one of our partners at Storytime. So I want to give a thanks to Heidi Allencaster and Liana Pagan of Family Hui Hawaii, and also Hui No Eau Visual Arts Center, which is another partner that helps us at Napili Park, at Lahaina District Court Multipurpose Room, to help facilitate arts and crafts with the kids. And I also want to acknowledge Bertha Unavia Verkert. I'm going to say your name wrong. Say it. Your last name. Verkerke. Bertha Unavia Verkerke, who is a retired early childhood educator who has been my rock through this whole time. And I trust her expertise and her love with children, and so she has helped me at these story times as well. She is an RSVP Kaunoa Senior Center volunteer. And working with all of these partners has been affirming and uplifting for me personally and professionally. I would like to read a quote from Storytime mom Nicole Kadawaki. She says, quote, "Storytime has been something my son looks forward to, from reading the stories to the art activity afterwards. When my son started going, he was his usual careful and reserved self, but the people and environment have brought him out of his shell, and he even participated in song and dance instead of just watching. And I love seeing my son enjoy doing the art activities. He has also built the confidence to approach the teachers, to speak and share. We love the calming environment and seeing my son bloom in so many good ways. We feel very fortunate to have Storytime and the Bookmobile in Lahaina." I also want to mention that we try to accommodate after-school kids, and this one mom, Shalina Barrios, and her kids, Bella and Naya, come. And she says one of our family's favorite days of the week is Tuesday, when the mobile library visits Lahaina. We rush from school to catch the last 10 to 15 minutes it's open, without a doubt, the highlight of our Tuesday. The staff is incredible, always offering a fresh selection of our favorite books. The free books and crafts are also a huge hit with my kids. Since losing our home in the 2023 Lahaina fire, the mobile library has brought so much joy and normalcy into our lives, helping my little readers continue to fall in love with reading. We're deeply grateful for the effort they make to visit us every week. Mahalo to the mobile library and its amazing staff. I've learned how important trauma-informed care is to library work and to all the work that we do. I've become an advocate for prioritizing workplace wellness. Library workers cannot give from an empty cup. Our bookmobile service needs to remain flexible so that we can be responsive to requests for our services. Assessing community needs and wants while evaluating our capacity to provide reliable, consistent services is truly a balancing act. Partnerships at all levels of government, federal, state, and county, and with local organizations make a difference in times of disaster. Building and maintaining relationships with colleagues across service industries and fields is rewarding and unifying. When we can come alongside one another and see how we all have similar goals, it makes the work we do less daunting and lonely. We are part of the fabric of helpers in our communities, and we are stronger when we work together. So I would like to thank the council, the people that showed up today, mom and dad, who were early nurturers of reading, writing, a love of libraries and learning. And it's a testament to the strength of, and the comfort, strength, and wonder that libraries can bring in all their different facets. Every school needs a library, every community needs a library. And so we need to do what it takes to fund and support and nurture future generations, because Bookmobile is part of a legacy of bookmobiles. I don't know, by raise of hand, who has been on a bookmobile growing up on Maui? Yes. So people have fond memories, and it's a core memory that makes a difference in people's lives. So with that, I just want to thank the council. I want to encourage you to come visit Wailuku Library if you have a moment, because we're going to celebrate 100 years in 4 years. So I want to make sure that we are archiving the generations of photos and stories and have talk story sessions so that we can amplify the importance of librarians, library workers, and libraries to our communities. Mahalo.
Thank you. And now I'd like to ask everyone, the family, to come down, and friends to take a picture right in front here. Members, you too. Give out the leaves.
Sorry, all of them. Hi, congratulations, both of you. All congratulations. Thank you.
Members ready to reconvene?
Chair.
Of course, we didn't take a recess, but I meant resume. Yes, yes. Member Rollins
While we're
Fernandez.
waiting for the, well, hello, Chair. While we're waiting for all the council members to return to their seats and proceed with our agenda, I am now at the district office, the Molokai district office, and I'm alone on my side of the office.
Oh, thank you for letting us know. Thank you. Okay, members. Let's resume, Ms. Clerk, with committee reports, right? Testimony on committee reports.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we'll call for testimony on any item, first on any item on the remaining meeting agenda. The first person we have to testify is Sam Small. Mr. Small, please let us know which item you'll be testifying on. Sam Small, it's your turn to testify.
Let's come back to him.
Okay, Chair, moving on to Leslie Milner testifying on Resolution 25-87.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, council members. Long time no see. So just briefly, I did send in correspondence this morning on Resolution 2587 asking for floor action. But after further discussion with Vice Chair's staff and the police department, we would ask for referral to committee as long as action can be taken prior to the end of April so the police can have the funds by May.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Any questions, members? If not, thank you.
Malo.
Next, Sid.
Chair, we'll see if we can come back to Sam Small. Seeing no response, we'll go to Junior Nakoa. Mr. Nakoa, please let us know which item you'll be testifying on. He'll be followed by Lawrence Carnicelli.
Yeah, morning. First thing first, point of clarification. I can speak on planning items today or only gonna talk to, I don't know. I got confused, yeah? 20 years of testifying, I get all kind of rules every time. I want to know what is the rules. I get 3 minutes per item. Is there going to be a presentation of each item? So I know what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, so I like to know that first before I testify because I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm confused right now.
Okay, Junior, this is not a committee meeting, so we will not have a presentation. You can testify on any item you wish to testify on, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay, mahalo for that clarification. First, one other thing is, I'd like to apologize for my actions yesterday. Small kind got thrown on curveball, so I was kind of mad. Sorry. Okay, now I'm going to start my team. Yeah, okay. First one is CR 2521. The money for the lawyer, outside lawyer. I've been saying this planning. Inside that room right now, you get choke lawyers. Why are we getting one outside lawyer that will spend almost $1 million is going to be allotted to this firm? Yeah, almost $1 million of our one. The main thing I like to bring up is, I heard in committee, you guys are talking about what is the reason why we're not hiring employees for work for the county? What is the reason? You guys just asking all that question. I'm going to tell you the reason is everybody uncomfortable working for this county, for this government. Because when they speak their mind, when they speak the truth about this county, about this government, they get fired. They get reprimanded. I tell you right now, I get Ohana. I get everybody that work in this thing. in this county, and this kid talk, but they talk to me, and I just not can mention name. So why are we gonna spend this kind of money for fight one of the employees, ex-employees of this county? Yeah, everybody, what that's how it's gonna be. You're gonna apply for this county, this government, and then you get a chance for get fired, and then not anywhere the kind the county gonna spend plenty of money on lawyers to make sure you stay fired. You know what is that? I was a union rep for 14 years, and we fight for our people, fight for the employees of Hawaii. I'm not American, and so why you guys gonna spend almost what, $900 something thousand for one outside lawyer? That's my Aui. Because you guys get $1.5 billion budget, and you guys spending all this kind of money all over the place. But us guys, we only get 3 minutes. But talk about that budget, yeah, for the $1.5 billion. We only get 3 minutes because of the new rule you guys didn't bust out. So the money, why we don't use all that smart buggers inside that office or you guys in that room?
Okay, Junior, your 3 minutes is up. The 3 minutes
my bad.
is up.
I know we did not. Yeah. Any comments, whatever?
Members, do you have any questions?
Question?
No questions, so you can go on to the next one.
Okay. The other one is CR 2518. About one project over here in Napili. That's my neighborhood. We don't know nothing about them. I don't fool around. I don't fool around. I do my deed, and I found out about this project. I found out about the other project from the Lieutenant Governor and Maui Land and Pine. The question I'm going to ask about this project, okay, hey, the developer, great job on picking the developer. I love that developer guy. But the problem is, the project that they did, my daughter, one brand new mother, and the kind, they never qualified for the Kaiolu in Kiawe Street. She never qualified. And she only get one job, and the boyfriend get one job. And then they get one brand new baby, almost 7 months, and then never qualified. So, we're not going to keep building these kind of projects where our people, our residents, our ohana cannot qualify for these things. So I'm talking to the developer. I think the AMI going all the way up to 80%, which is a little bit better. Okay, maybe my daughter can qualify now, but it's the kind, we got to make sure these projects. I even asked I forget all the kind of letters they get, but ask if they can make them at least 100%. And so next time you guys gonna do this, the two projects I heard, to come talk to us, the neighbors, they're gonna get affected. And I hope these two projects going to do the environmental impacts and go do everything, so we don't get screwed like the Wahikuli guys got screwed. Yeah, and then anyway, another thing about this project, I know it's on county land. Is this 50 acres that you guys gonna build on is from the Pulelehua project? Because I swear that the Pulelehua project is all rentals too. And also, they no can build because no more water. So why are we gonna try to build some more? Guys, hey, I know this is all affordable, but we gotta know what we're doing, guys. Okay, because right now Pulelehua getting shut down. So we're gonna give this. I just confused. I'm confused right now on the tactics by the state and the county and the federal. And us guys get screwed. We just gotta deal with it. I want to know. We need public meetings yesterday about this kind of stuff, especially if this is going to affect us. Pulelehua is shut down. Got approved, Yangi. Got approved by you guys.
Okay.
Got approved by you guys. So now I just all the questions I get. You know what I mean? I hope this is going to go back into committee, because I know we hear about this thing coming in committee. But that's all I'm saying, gang. Don't come shoving these kind of projects down our throat, and we gotta suffer, and we don't know what's going on.
Okay, members, we have a question for you. Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Nicole, for your testimony. I believe you're right. They are going up to the 80%, but what is the demographic that you are looking for to be built?
Okay. Now, since get the Kaiaulu guys, they're awesome. Then hurry up and then build the 2 projects in Kiawe Street. So that's all rentals. The Pulelehua, all rentals. Okay, and I don't know no explanation about the 50 acres of the county land.
Oh, it's 15, yeah.
Why aren't we building? What is that?
It's not 50, it's 15.
Yeah, but the whole parcel is 50 acres, right?
Correct.
That you guys gonna build on. That's yeah. So see again, I'm glad you're educating me now. I wish I knew all of this. I wish I knew all of this before, and that's why I want to ask you when you're on presentation, because then I'm gonna know what's going on. Right now, I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I don't fool around. I dig. I call up people, and I'm finding these things out.
Talk offline this weekend.
So what I'm saying, the 15 acres for these 120 units, yeah, is great. I'm saying, but how are we going to approve this one when the Pulelehua not going? And so I'm just confused, gang.
Yeah,
confused.
Let's go talk offline this weekend then.
You know what I mean? For real, kind of like you know me. I get calls. I get lean gang. You know, with all these projects coming down the south. Right? People call me. I tell you guys, people call me and then I call and I just talk to the developer. He gonna come in May and then he gonna talk about again. If we'll talk before the thing come up, like before this thing came up today, then maybe I would have shut up. But now that I don't know nothing about it, I get the right and the thing to question these things because it's our land, it's our resources, it's our money, and it's gonna be affecting us. So,
okay, thank you, Junior.
I mean, and
thank you, Junior.
yeah. So
I would just say that.
Yeah. So that is what I hope we get.
It was in the BFED committee, and when I asked the questions that you were asking, they said that if the pre-development moves forward, it's during the change in zoning procedures that the public would be involved in the process, because this is only the pre-development if it's to go or not to go. So this is a committee report from BFED, and I asked the same question that you are asking right now, and that's the answer that they gave to me, but we can talk this weekend.
Yeah, perfect.
Do you have
all
another?
for that. I mean, would be good to get educated about this project. So we, don't get me wrong, might be good job, good project. But how am I going to say that if I don't know nothing? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Tomorrow, like always, you're awesome. Thank you for doing what you do, and yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, shoot. Have a good weekend. Yes, sir.
You too. You have a next testifier?
Yes, Chair. We'll return to Sam Small. I saw him pop on briefly. Mr. Small. Chair, move on to Lawrence Carnicelli. Please, Mr. Carnicelli, let us know which item you'll be testifying on.
Good morning, Chair, Council. Lawrence Carnicelli testifying on Resolution 2585.
Good morning.
Good morning, and I apologize that I couldn't be there in person. Resolution 2585 is a request for an extension on Kuikahi Village. You guys are all very familiar with the project. We have been doing everything we can to keep this project alive and keep it moving forward. The resolution itself is in the ordinance, it's 2 years to start and 5 years to complete. Our 2-year anniversary of this project in full entitlements is May 11th. So I would respectfully request or ask if you guys might be able to take floor action on this today, since you're headed into budget. And if it goes to committee, it may not be done in time. So I'm here to answer questions when the item comes up, or now if you'd like, but I just want to make myself available. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, do you have questions? Vice Chair Sugimura?
Yeah, thank you. Nice to see you, Mr. Carnicelli. I wish I had more time to talk to you before this meeting, because your project has been dormant for years now. And the plan is, why do you want these the 2-year extension, and how do you move this forward with the financial needs that you have? The mayor, took back, the $6 million that was allocated in affordable housing for your project. So how are you doing with your financial stack, your mix of housing? You got to come back to 2.97. What are your plans?
Great question. Thank you for that, Member Sugimura. It may appear to have been dormant for 2 years, but it's far from dormant. We've been working diligently on a number of different things. Where we are currently, if I just go to today, we are in conversations with Housing Director Mitchell and HHFDC, Dean Minakami and Randy Chu over at HHFDC on getting funding for this. The way that, post-COVID and with inflation that's happening, everything like that, the numbers are staggering in a way that the amount of funding that it would need to move forward is something that is not palatable for whether it's the state or the county or a combination thereof. So we're in the process right now of working with there's 3 different options on the table right now that we're going back to the director and HHFDC and see if it makes more sense to rework the project completely or get creative in the way that it's currently entitled. So it will be coming back to you in some way, shape, or form here hopefully in the next, probably right after budget, as far as what the next iteration of the project will be. But if we don't get this extension, it's 100% dead, right? It can't move forward because the entitlements are over.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
That's where we're at.
Member Paulton, a clarifying question?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Carnicelli. I just wanted to clarify if this project is under Betzel and Alaula Builders as well, similar to the Halikaiola?
Negative. Allow the builders and/or Doyle or Dwayne Betzel are not associated with the project.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, thank you very much. Thank you. May we have the next speaker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll return. We saw Sam Small pop on. Mr. Small.
Okay. You're muted.
Please let us know which item you're testifying on.
It won't allow me to unmute.
No, we can hear you now.
All right, well, I have to hold the buttons down to do it. Okay, if you can hear me, I'll hold the buttons down.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you. I've been knocked off the air like 5 times already, so thank you very much for coming back to me. All right, testifying against giving KSG nearly $1 million to really basically defend corruption. In 2018, Ellie Cochran had me give expert testimony on how for over 40 years, Corporation Counsel abused thousands of deferral agreements, shifting millions of dollars in developers' infrastructure costs onto the taxpayers. They wrote them in secret illegally, knowing that with no follow-up, the county would never collect. Select developers, attorneys, and directors further abuse the agreements to illegally circumvent SMA and subdivision requirements at our expense. Chris Salem exposed all this. We now know that even after the deferral agreement was killed, Corporation Counsel kept writing them secretly for another decade. Fixing this is a political hot potato because it reveals criminal acts by people still in power. Our independent auditor agreed to audit the agreements, but after spending taxpayers' money for 3 years, he dropped it. Why? Mayor Victorino breathed new fire into this mess when he listened to me and hired Chris Salem to draft legislation to clean it up. Pat Wong was arrested for domestic violence just hours after Mike told him about Chris Salem. David Good whined that Chris was the worst possible hire possible. Corp Counsel blocked the mayor and Chris relentlessly and used Chris's whistleblowing on Greg Brown's Monster Hotel in Napili as a pretext to fire him. For years, Corp Counsel has lied to you, claiming that the deferral agreements are unrelated to Chris's wrongful termination suit. In court, Judge Kristen Hammond concealed her prior involvement with the deferral agreements and repeatedly echoed Corp Counsel's lie. It was a nice try, but when confronted with her undisclosed conflicts, Hammond recused herself. Corp Counsel tried the same lie again with Judge Cahill and failed. After years of frivolous defense and untold tax dollars wasted, Court Counsel was conflicted out because the agreements they abused are clearly part of this case. Now KSG is racking up nearly $1 million more in public funds to continue shielding a small circle's illegal past. We never had discovery before, only obstruction. Judge Cahill's extensive discovery orders revealed fraud and conspiracy bigger than we ever imagined. There's proof that Corp Counsel penetrated the audit's independence, killing the investigation of their own bad acts. Even now, KSG is lying to the court with an unsupported claim that the Public Works Director can eliminate infrastructure from an SMA permit without telling, 15 seconds more, without telling anyone, when in fact the exclusive authority over SMA is planning. Unless you stop this now, more lawsuits are coming. How can you possibly justify paying KSG multiple millions of dollars to defend government and developers' corruption? DOJ will be coming after you.
Thank you. Members, do you have any questions for the testifier? If not, thank you very much.
Chair, the next testifier is Johan Lal. Mr. Lal, please let us know which item you'll be testifying on.
Mr. Law, you may begin.
Aloha, this is Johan Law. It looks like my camera's not working, but...
No, we can see you.
That's
we
okay,
can see you.
Oh.
And hear you.
Okay, I am testifying on my own behalf on CR 2520 and CR 2521. So I'm opposed to CR 2520. You know, I think if someone is in public office and they are accused of some kind of wrongdoing or there's a lawsuit, then it seems like that would be Corporation Counsel's job to defend them in court. And if it's an individual case of wrongdoing, then I think it would be up to you to pay for your own lawyer. In fact, when I myself whistle blew to Mayor Bisson on wrongdoing, corruption, and fraud in the planning department, they launched an investigation into me, and I had to hire my own lawyer. He didn't charge me very much. I only ended up paying $2,000, but I paid for it myself. So the idea that they would be spending this much money on private representation for a firefighter who is accused of putting his employee in harm's way, I think is probably not right. CR 2521, so this one is confusing to me because I believe this case is about retaliation for whistleblowing. And I remember when Mayor Bisson ran for office, he gave a speech where he said something like he was going to have reconciliation, not retaliation. So I'm not sure why almost $1 million is proposed to be spent on defending retaliation by the previous mayor and the previous planning director. This seems like a huge waste of taxpayer money. And I honestly don't understand. There's a lot better things to spend this kind of money on. And if Corporation Counsel is not able to defend because of a conflict of interest or whatever, maybe this would be a thing where they should just settle with this Christopher Salem guy and not have to worry about this anymore. So I'm opposed to both of these resolutions. Mahalo.
Thank you. Members, do you have any questions? Member Paulton.
Thank you, Mr. Law. For your case, what you were, to clarify, you're in the planning department?
Yes, I was working for the planning department at the time.
Okay, are you aware that the Fire and Public Safety Commission oversees the fire department and they make the recommendation whether or not fire department employees will have county representation, and we're not to go against their recommendation?
No, I did not know that they had a role in this specific thing.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions, members? If not, thank you very much. May we have the next testifier?
Chair, there's no one currently signed up to testify at the beginning of the meeting, so we'll give last call for any testimony on the beginning of the meeting. I see JC making his way down. Nope. Okay. So giving last call, counting down 3, 2, 1. Chair, there's...
Chair.
I see Christopher Salem has just raised his hands. Go ahead, Mr. Salem. Please let us know which item you're testifying on. Christopher Salem, it's your turn to testify. We saw another individual. Go ahead, Mr. Salem.
The microphone is still muted.
We can hear you.
Mr. Salem, you can speak.
It appears that the microphone is muted on your end, Mr. Salem.
Was he the last person?
Yes, currently he's the last person that signed up to testify. It looked like someone else raised their hand, but there we go. We'll go on to, it's Moane Keala Muna. Please go ahead and unmute on your end.
We can't hear you. Or she's using the phone.
No, looks like signed in just through video.
I see 2 numbers. Could one of the numbers be her number? One is 246 and one is 280. 246.
Okay, can you hear me now? Oh, okay. Aloha mai kako and annyeong haseo, as you guys were greeting each other. My name is Moani Keala Munya, and I am calling in to oppose Resolution 2552. 2552 , 2552 , 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 2552, 25 I submitted some written testimony yesterday, and I am a resident of Hawaii Island, and I live across the street from where firefighter Trey Evans Dumeron went to school. My children had the privilege of being raised with Trey while he lived here on Hawaii Island. And I strongly urge each Maui County Council member to reflect on what you personally and individually would want done if your child were killed while protecting and serving their community. I believe that spending $150,000 to further protect Captain Scott Martin is a poor use of Maui's resources, and I urge you to reconsider the use of your monies. The family of Trey has proposed a fair way of addressing what happened to Trey in a meaningful way that also protects other firefighters from facing the same type of harm. And, you know, there will be no justice for Trey's family, but things can be. Oh, no. Sorry? I think somebody else is speaking. Okay. I truly appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions for the testifier? If not, thank you very much.
Tracy Christopher Salem raising his hand, so perhaps he's able to join. Go ahead, Mr. Salem.
Mr. Salem?
You're unmuted on our end. Mr. Salem, if you wish, you could see if you want to sign out and sign back in, and then sign up to testify at the time your item, the item you wish to testify on, is considered. Or you can try to unmute on your end. We'll go into JC Law. Go ahead.
Aloha kakahiaka luna ha'omolu li. I'm just kind of stalling for time. That seems to be the
Well, we may not have to do that because he'll have another opportunity when the item comes up.
right. I wanted to hear what Mr. Salem has to say, so I'm just waiting as long as possible.
Well, you have to say something.
Right.
Testify on something.
There's something to the saying, silence is louder than words. I'm like, silence is golden. I'm like, yeah. This is kind of nice. I don't feel like I'm rushed.
Oh, you still have 3 minutes.
Well, I appreciate the timer for, I guess that's Office of Council Services. So, but this one over here is kind of garish.
Well, you know, I can't even see that one.
JC Law, CR 2520. I appreciate your opening remarks, Chair Lee. This case is fighting fire with fire. Scott Martin versus Chelsea Evans, personal representative of Trey Pu'uwai La'aha Ihia Olo Paka Mele Huanani Evans Numeron. I was going to ask for a minute of silence, but the clerk's office tells me that the Office of Information Practices says that silence is not testimony, so I wasn't allowed to do that. And I just wanted to say my friend's name again, and that I would like to see a memorial. I echo I appreciate Sam Small's comments and the other comments where it doesn't seem to make sense to pay money for lawyers and just what the families kind of probably could use the money. And I would like to see personally a memorial there or probably not there, but somewhere, maybe at the fire department that he worked for, with a nice picture of Trey on it.
Chair will return to Christopher Salem. Mr. Salem, go ahead and unmute on your end.
I want to check and see if it's unmuted now.
Yes, we can hear you.
By golly. You know, I work on Zoom all the time with the court systems, and there's something that's definitely needs to be addressed on this system. And this is stressful enough to be dealing with this, but regardless, if I could start my testimony now, thank you so much.
Please let us know which item you're testifying on.
Okay, I'm testifying obviously this morning on CR 25-21. I think we're all aware that a Honolulu law firm that replaced conflicted corp counsel is seeking almost $1 million to defend a whistleblower claims from a former staff member of the Office of the Mayor and Executive Assistant to the Maui County Council. My testimony today, while it should be focusing on some of the amazing and beautiful things that have happened recently here in Lahaina, unfortunately, I got to speak about litigation as a citizen whistleblower. My testimony is about these excessive legal fees in a case that should have never cost this county one penny. I remind this council that I signed an agreement with Mayor Victorino to release the county from liability in exchange for notifying a private developer their subdivision and SMA permit violations. I also remind this council you voted 9-0, which happens very seldom, to audit the thousands of unaccounted for private developer agreements executed at the unclean hands of county attorneys that have shifted tens of millions of dollars of infrastructure obligations onto the county and its residents. Is anyone like myself really sick of talking about this? At the end of the day, where is the audit? I'll tell you where. Discovery has just revealed that Corp Counsel obstructed the completion of the audit to cover up their misdealings with the private developers. A new complaint is being prepared against the county auditor based on this evidence. Mr. Taguchi has a duty to remain independent. He does not succumb to the authority of the mayor or the council. However, we now know he was engaged in representation with Moana Ludi of Corporation Counsel in the middle of this audit while I was employed at the staff member of the mayor, trying to bring professional consultants for a fair and equitable manner to collect upon these agreements. We were stonewalled and I was silenced, and Corp Counsel refused to meet with me to review my legislation that would have brought this to the council in a respectful manner, and we and the mayor would have been seen as the most upstanding citizens and county employees who were basically revealing a whole lot of hanky-panky, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was to clean it up. The goal was not to expose Corp Counsel, although they absolutely are now. The goal was strictly to do things what is right in accordance with the ordinances that this body adopts. So let's connect the dots. Council members, do you recall Moana Ludi when she was asked by one of our council members, and I won't use the name, of why the administration was not enforcing this SMA permit?
Time.
Do you recall her saying she knew nothing about that? She's the attorney of record in multiple cases involving the very same SMA permit.
Mr. Salem,
I believe with your professional background in education, we have council members who can look this up.
Mr. Salem, please conclude.
She lied to you. Pardon me?
Please conclude your testimony.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't even hear you, so I imagine you're saying my 3 minutes is up. The bottom line is this. This county council has the ability to investigate wrongdoing or decisions by the administration. It's never happened. In less than an hour, if you meet with me to mediate this case, you will find that every cent you've spent you will come back from the civil engineer and the developer who defrauded this county. And we can all potentially hug around the table of finally, because Corp Counsel has been conflicted out and the judge, and now their vengeance towards a citizen who's
Okay, Mr. Salem, we're going to have to cut you off. I asked you to please conclude.
That is my conclusion, and I'm sorry, I did not come in here with this energy until all this frustration with this system.
Members, do you have any questions? Vice Chair Sugimura.
Not a question for him, but I just want to state that he has, in his testimony, he's speaking negatively about people that we respect, our county clerk, Juan Ludi, and everybody else, Lance Taguchi.
Okay, let's
and let's not have that again.
Conclude this by asking again any more questions, members. If not, thank you. May we have the next testifier?
Chair, the next testifier is Michelle Del Rosario. Ms. Del Rosario, please let us know which item you're testifying on.
Good morning, council members. I am testifying on two items, CR 25-20 and Reso 25-85. 25-20 regarding the additional expenditure of $150,000 for an outside law firm to defend a county employee. I'm testifying against that item. I would rather see that $150,000 given to the family. This family has endured hardships that no family should ever have to undergo. I feel that spending $200,000 to defend a case is dishonoring Trey's memory. We have made mistakes. We as a community, a county, have made mistakes before pursuing litigation down a path of multiple years and millions of dollars to only lose cases. And I would like to see that money be put to better use, either in settlement to the family, in better training and education and equipment for our firefighters so they can perform their duties more safely, but not spent on litigation. Trey's family has not been taken care of. That is a comment that's been said in the community. The truth is they've received nothing, no compensation, no acknowledgement, no real care, no apology from this county. I feel like that needs to be done. I'd like to see our county take responsibility and behave in a moral way, offering this family a fair solution that would release Captain Martin of his personal liability, fund an organization like the Live Like Trey Foundation to help current and retired firefighters. I'd like it to also see the implementation of independent safety audits. I'd like to see this money used for something that's going to provide us with a better outcome. We deserve better leadership. The community has spoken through a petition, almost 900 people signed. County leaders should be taking responsibility and not hiding behind a legal strategy. I think it's undisputed this young man died in the action in his role as a firefighter. As a community member, I don't want to see blame placed and fingers pointed. I would just like to see us do the right thing. That concludes my testimony on 25-20. On Reso 25-85, an extension of time for commencement and conclusion of Kulikahi Village. I'm testifying against this item. I feel like this is being rushed. I feel the developer knew they had an upcoming deadline. I don't know when they notified the county, but a May 11th deadline would have been in place for almost 2 years. I feel like we need to have more transparency, community input, and greater understanding as to why Kulikahi has not been able to commence this project. It looks like a great project on paper, and when they brought it before the council, there were consistent statements of their readiness and ability to proceed. And here they are 2 years later. I like the developer, I support their project. However, they're one in a string of developers who say what they need to say and then come back to the council asking for changes, more incentives, more time. We need housing from developers who can execute it on time and under budget. That concludes my testimony.
Members, any questions? If not, thank you very much. May we have the next testifier?
Chair, the next testifier is Ernest Kanamu Balimbin. Mr. Balimbin, please let us know which item you're testifying on.
Mr. Balimbin, are you there? Do you see him?
Yes, we see you. You're frozen on our screen, though. Did you want to try to reconnect? We can go on to the next testifier and come back to you, or you could try to call in on the phone. I'll give you the phone number. It's also in the chat. 808-977-4067. The code is 234-794-559, then the pound sign. I'll just repeat that. 808-977-4067. Then you enter the code 234-794-559, pound sign. We'll go on to the next testifier, Chair. The next testifier is Kaiulani Galon, testifying on Committee Report 2520.
Hi, good morning. I'm Kaiulani, for those who I haven't met yet, but I'm very appreciative that you're giving me some time to be here today. I come to you as a mama, an auntie, a friend, a community leader, and I'm kind of going off the cuff. I've never done this before, so I'm excited to be a part of the civic duty here. So thank you, but I am really here to honor Trey and his mama over there, who has handled this situation with such beauty and such grace that it really needs to be acknowledged that she didn't come off as angry and firing. She came off as smart and clever and decided to do what was best for her son. And if any of us were in that situation where our son just passed away from negligence of leadership in our job, I think that we would probably be fighting for this as well. So I'm asking you to kind of dig deep in your human side and your family side and consider why we would want you to not spend more money that we really need in this county for other things on something that is a legal process that I feel for Scott Martin. Is that his name? Scott Martin, I think. I do. I feel for him, and we all make mistakes in our lives, and we have to be accountable for them. That's part of what it is to be in a community. We have been a part of systemic oppression and colonization and trauma, like generational trauma, that we all have to kind of understand has happened in this community. And Trey was this beautiful young local boy who had so much going for him. He was a beautiful brother, a beautiful son. He contributed, and he was just like an inspiration to all of us, which is why the Live Like Trey foundation is such an inspiration to me and my family. And I feel really sad that I couldn't wear my t-shirt today, but it's because I went running with it the other day, because that's my way of showing honor to him. So, and my family has worn it to Disneyland and to ride horses and to show that like living like Trey means to be inspirational and to be a community member. So, as a constituent, and as you have been elected to honor us as your constituents, I'm asking you to consider this $150,000 to be contributed to an inspirational cause in our county instead. This is not a matter that even should be in question, in my opinion. In the national climate right now, we have chaotic ways of achieving a really maniacal agenda. And in this moment, as a community, we could really come together and be inspired by people like you in this moment doing something that's really right for this community. And so I'm asking that $150,000, I have so many ways that I could tell you that could be spent on achieving really good things in this community, including some of the things that one of the testifiers before mentioned, but about safety, and really they have tried to think through what a good cause to this would be. Thank you. And so I'm just asking you, please inspire, please make this moment better instead of worse. We have so much yuck going on right now that's hurting us and will be taken away from us. That $150,000 could go to a good cause that would really be helpful in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions? If not, thank you very much.
Chair will return to Ernest Kanamu Balinban. We see you online. Go ahead and unmute on your end.
Kanamu, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
Mr. Balinban, try pressing *6 if you can hear us. *6.
Do we have another testifier?
Mr. Balinban was the last testifier in the for the beginning of the meeting, but we could give last call for the beginning and then move on to committee reports. And then if he wished to testify in any of those sections of the agenda, he could sign up to testify on the specific items. It looks like he may have dropped off, so maybe he's going to try to connect a different way. So, Chair, with your permission, I'll go ahead and give last call for testimony at the beginning of the meeting.
Okay, please do.
Okay, counting down 3, 2, 1. Chair, I don't see anyone else signed up to testify at the beginning of the meeting.
Members, any objections to closing public testimony for the beginning of the meeting?
No objections.
And accepting written testimony. So ordered. Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to committee reports. And so at this time, individuals may sign up to testify on the committee reports. We don't currently have anyone signed up to testify. So we'll go ahead and give last call. Seeing no one raising their hand in teams or making their way to the podium. Count down 3, 2.
Ms. Clerk. Ms. Clerk. Mr. Balinban would have testified on one of the committee reports. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking he would have on 20, no, maybe not 20, but 21, and maybe Napili. Any objections to letting him join in with testimony because of this situation?
No objections.
Okay. So we're still closing testimony, except for him, only because he's tried to
log in.
Yeah, tried to log in, and maybe he might get successful. Can we do that, Ms. Clerk?
No, we would need to leave it open for anyone to testify. He could submit written testimony, at any time. But I don't see him on right now. I think he's dropped off the meeting.
Point of information.
Yes.
If we leave the testimony open, can we start the agenda, or we cannot if the testimony is open?
So we would need to probably take testimony on each item then before taking any action on the item, if we were going to do it that way. But perhaps, I don't know, Chair, it's 10:30 if you wanted to consider the morning break.
Yeah.
No, well,
I would like to consider the morning break to take a pause for the cause and leave testimony open till we come back.
Okay, and then the other thing too is, if you're willing, members, is to leave it open for committee reports, but move on to resolutions and ordinances. So we can open and close those.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. Okay, but for now, we'll take a 10-minute break. 10-minute break, it is, so 10:39, we will reconvene. Meeting in recess. Will the council meeting of April 4th, 2025 please reconvene, Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So resuming testimony on committee reports. At this time, any individual may testify on the committee reports, and we have one testifier signed up currently. That's Ernest Kanamu Balimban. Please go ahead and let us know which committee report you're testifying on.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Sorry. First time using Teams. I'm testifying on, right now I don't know the number, but it's the one regarding Chris Salem, and they want a lot more money for the county's defense. My perspective is, I think that money could go elsewhere. If you're following the trial, if you guys have read any transcripts from the that's going on in Judge Cahill's courtroom, the county is getting smashed by Chris Salem, who's going pro se. All these other injection wells, all these other past litigations that the county went through that lost the taxpayers' money. This is one that you guys will lose again. Looks like. I don't want to get into the specifics, but regarding, I had one say, you guys voted 9-0 to investigate this, and I think it was $90,000 for the investigation to be done. I don't know if it was regarding the SMA part as part of the lawsuits or not. From my understanding. But the $90,000 wasn't, you guys never spend the $90,000 to do the investigation. But yet now you guys spend $925,000 to this law firm. And that's just outrageous to me. That money could be used so much other places. Give it to Trey. Sounds like, I never know that Trey was going through this much stuff too on another note. But please, guys, all the paperwork that's done, all these discoveries that are made, and I saw the paperwork. The county, don't get petty guys when they busted on this. It seems like Judge Cahill and the conversations that he had with Chris during the courtroom process, they talk like half hour straight when they're in the courtroom. And if anybody, you guys start watching them, geez, I don't know how court counsel got conflicted out. The judge who used to work for court counsel got conflicted out of this case. And this all could have been done without any of this going on if that got blocked by, Chris Salem is a good friend of mine. But we butt heads on a lot of the things, but we still come to a common ground what's good for our community. And, that's what, like how Junior said, people don't work for the county because people are scared to work for the county. That's the bottom line. Like Victor said, whistleblowers be retaliated against. I remember him saying that. They're not going to get retaliated against, we have reconciliation. So we would like to live up to his word. We'd like the council to investigate these things. I don't think all this stuff going on. Thank you guys for, I really find it. Every time things go our way, gotta go. Chris Salem not the bad guy here, you guys. You guys point him out. You guys treat him like he was redheaded and stepchild, Holly boy. Bugger is only good for our community, you guys. You guys don't even understand that. The things that he does for our community.
Okay, thank
People
you.
here in coach, the kids, all this stuff, all the things he does for our community. All of us behind the guys do that. I'm still doing that at the Veterans Hall. It's frustrating for us. We help our community, but we don't get the help that we need, we feel like. So thank you,
Kanamu.
I don't know,
Your time is up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody asked me one question.
Thank
Nobody
you.
going now.
Are there any questions for the testifier? No questions, so thank you very much. Next testifier.
Chair, Mr. Balimban was the last testifier to sign up for committee reports, so we'll go ahead and give a last call for anyone wishing to testify on the committee reports. Please raise your hand in Teams or make your way to the podium. Chair, seeing none, we'll count down 3, 2, 1. There's no one else to testify.
Members, any objections to closing public testimony on committee reports and accepting written testimony into the record?
No objections.
So ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Chair from the Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee is Committee Report 25-18, recommending first reading of Bill 33, CD1, 2025, to amend the fiscal year 2025 budget by amending Appendix A, Part 2, Special Purpose Revenues, Schedule of Revolving Special Funds for fiscal year 2025 Affordable Housing Fund by 1, increasing the estimated balance of the 6/30/2024 as of 6/30/2024 by $11,892,593 and adjusting the totals accordingly. And 2, adding a new condition 11 for up to $650,000 to be used for a grant to A0746 Lahaina LP for pre-development costs for the Kai'ulu'onupili Affordable Housing Project located at tax map key 243001096 Napili, Maui, Hawaii.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adopt recommendations in Committee Report 2518.
Second.
Moved by Vice Chair Sugimura, seconded by Pro Tem Kama to approve the recommendations in Committee Report 2518 discussion. Vice Chair Sugimura.
Bill 33 originally proposed increasing the estimated balance of the Affordable Housing Fund and authorizing a $650,000 grant for the Kai'ulu'onupili project. With the passage of Bill 31, the fund balance adjustment is no longer necessary. The revised purpose of Bill 33 is solely to authorize a $650,000 grant to AO746 Lahaina LP for pre-development costs related to Kai'ulu'onupili Affordable Housing Project. Pre-development costs include traffic, cultural impact analysis, environmental assessments, and permitting. The proposed project would be located on property the county purchased with open space funds. The open space fund will need to be reimbursed for the portion of the property that will be used before this project can proceed. I respectfully ask the members' support for my motion.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's see. I see 9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries. Ms. Clerk?
Chair from the Government Relations, Ethics, and Transparency Committee is Committee Report 25-19, recommending first reading of Bill 3, CD1, 2024-1, implement Section 10-3 of the revised Charter of the County of Maui, 1983, as amended, approved by the electorate at the 2022 general election, and update the procedure for the filing of financial disclosure statements, and 2, increase security for county elections officials.
Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adopt the recommendation in CR 25-19.
Second.
Moved by Member Hodgins, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to approve Committee Report 25-19 and its recommendations. Discussion, Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. Your great committee met on March 18th, 2025 to discuss the bill, including revisions proposed by the Department of Corporation Counsel, which corrects inconsistencies between Maui County Code and the Charter as it relates to filing financial disclosure statements. Your committee noted the bill would address privacy threats and safety concerns for elected officials, but recommended the reduction of sensitive contact information only, such as addresses and phone numbers, rather than the entire financial disclosure statement for public transparency. Your committee voted 9-0 to recommend the passage of Bill 3, CD1, 2024 on first reading. And right now I move to amend Bill 3, CD1, 2024 by amending Section 4 to read as follows. This ordinance takes effect upon approval, except that financial disclosure statements for the county clerk and deputy clerk at the same time of passage must be confidential, including financial disclosure statements previously filed by the individuals.
Moved by Member Hodgins, seconded by Pro Tem Kama to make this amendment. Discussion on this amendment, Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. This amendment would apply the ordinance retroactively to the financial disclosure statements previously filed by the current county clerk and deputy county clerk. And at this time, I respectfully ask for the member's support of my motion. Thank you, Chair.
Any more discussion, members? If not, all those in favor of the motion to amend, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Member Hodgins, any further discussion?
No, Chair.
Now, the main motion as amended. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Clerk?
Chair from the Government Relations, Ethics, and Transparency Committee is Committee Report 2520, recommending adoption of Resolution 2552, authorizing additional compensation in the amount of $150,000 for a total compensation not to exceed $200,000 to ES&A Inc., a law corporation as special counsel to represent Scott Martin, a Department of Fire and Public Safety employee, and Chelsea Evans individually, and as the personal representative of the estate of Trey Pu'uvaila, Ahia Olopaka Amele Haunani, Evans Dumoran, deceased, versus Scott Martin, Civil 2 CCV 24000034.
Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. If there are no objections, may I please also ask the clerk to call up Committee Report 25-21 at this time?
Any objections? So ordered. Member Hodgins.
Oh, Chair, before you is Committee Report 2521, recommending adoption of Resolution 2575, authorizing additional compensation in the amount of $475,000 for a total compensation not to exceed $925,000 to Kobayashi Sugita and Goda LLP as special counsel to represent the County of Maui, Richard T. Bisson Jr. in his official capacity, and Kate Blystone as successor to Kathleen Aoki in her official capacity, and Christopher Salem versus County of Maui et al., civil number 2 CCV 21000048.
Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adopt the recommendations in CR 25-20 and 25-21.
Second.
Moved by Member Hodgins, seconded by Pro Tem Kama, to approve the recommendations in CRs 25, 20, and 21. Discussion, Member Hodgins.
Thank you. At its meeting of March 18th, your great committee met to discuss these resolutions. The council is authorized to retain or employ special counsel by resolution adopted by 2/3 vote in accordance with Section 3-6, Parent 6 of the revised Charter of the County of Maui 1983 as amended. Your committee received status updates of the claims from Deputy Corporation Counsel in open session and convened an executive meeting on Resolution 25-75 to consult with and deliberate on matters requiring the consideration of confidential information. Your committee voted 9-0 to recommend the adoption of both of these resolutions. Now at this time, I respectfully ask for the members' support of this motion. Thank you.
Further discussion, Member Paulton.
Chair, if it's okay, I have a couple of questions for Corp Counsel, but if it requires us to go into executive session, I would withdraw it just because we didn't have any testifiers when we went over these items in committee.
Okay. Go ahead, ask your questions.
For CR 25-20, some of the testifiers requested us to reallocate the $150,000 to spend on good things in the community. Is that an option that we could take, an action that we could take today on this item?
Corp Counsel.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think that would require an executive session to get into that into more depth, but I would also have to get the Deputy Corp Counsel here who handled this matter. And then this one's special counsel. Yeah, I'd have to get them on the phone so they could probably go over that more thoroughly with you.
The other question I had then in that case is it correct that if the Fire and Public Safety Commission says the employee gets representation from the county, then we don't have that choice? They make that choice?
Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that question. And that came up also, I think you had that same question with the Police Commission about recommending whether or not police officers. So I went back and we discussed it in the department and concluded that, yes, they have the authority to require us to represent. So the question goes to those commissions, and they determine whether or not those folks are entitled to special counsel. So we don't see any way that this council could override that. If you did, we'd probably get sued by the person who the police commission agreed should be represented because they have the authority to make that decision.
And I guess the last question would be, there's nothing stopping the requests from happening that are non-monetary. Like, there's nothing stopping an audit, there's nothing stopping a grant to a foundation from a council member through the budget session. Those things could also still happen separately.
Corp Counsel?
Thank you, Chair. So if I understand your question, we have litigation going on, and yet there could be actions to do things like, are you asking, would that be sort of an admission of some kind of liability if you were to? I have to say, I don't think so. I think the two things are separate.
Okay, thank you. I'm ready to.
At first blush, but thanks for the question.
I'm ready to, we're voting on both of them. If I could ask a couple questions on the second item.
Go ahead.
For the second item, it says Christopher Salem versus County of Maui et al. So does that mean the County of Maui et al. Is being taken to legal action by Christopher Salem?
Corp Counsel?
Thank you, Chair. So the et al. Is an abbreviation so that we don't write out all of the other defendants who are named in a complaint. That's all that means.
No, I mean, are we taking retaliatory action against Chris Salem, or are we just defending ourselves against legal action by Chris Salem?
Corp Counsel.
Thank you. To the best of my understanding, we have not filed any claims against Mr. Salem. Mr. Salem is the plaintiff, and the County of Maui is the defendant. I don't believe there are any cross claims, but again, I'd have to get the special counsel on the line to answer that for you.
I always mix up the plaintiff and defendant. Can you break that down to layman?
So Christopher Salem is the plaintiff, and we are the defendant.
Plaintiff?
So the plaintiff is the one who initiates the lawsuit. So when you read a complaint, the first name is the person who's suing. The second name is the person, entity, people that are being sued. Those are the defendants.
Thank you. That was the clarification.
Thank you.
Members, any questions on either of the CRs? No further questions? All right, are you ready for the vote? All those in favor of the motion to approve both CRs, raise your hand, say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Chair from the Water and Infrastructure Committee is Committee Report 2522, recommending first reading of Bill 28 CD1 2025 to allow additional flood-prone areas not delineated on the Federal Emergency Management Agency's flood insurance rate map to be included within the special flood hazard areas.
Member Cook.
I move to adopt the recommendations in Committee Report 25-22.
Moved by Member Cook to approve the recommendations in Committee Report 25-22, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura. Discussion, Member Cook.
Thank you, members. Your Water and Infrastructure Committee met on March 17th, 2025 to discuss Bill 28. The county has regulated development in special flood hazard areas since 1981. But the current FEMA map was last updated in 2015. So new studies are underway to assess post-fire flood risk in Lahaina's burn zone, with results expected by summer 2025. The department is also conducting broader flood studies in Kihei. 1,000 parcels in Lahaina may need flood development permits. The Department of Public Works is assisting with the permit process and has engaged consultants to support their efforts. Your committee amended Bill 28 to revise the definition of flood insurance rate map, FIRM, to begin with the acronym FIRM to facilitate the public's ability to locate this term in the county's code. Another amendment was made to subsection 16.29.040A to refer to the definition of special flood hazard areas in section 16.29.030. Your committee voted 9-0 to recommend passage of Bill 28 CD1 2025 on first reading. I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion.
Further discussion? Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. For me, I've a couple points of discussion, sorry. I guess the first point would be I appreciate that acknowledgement that not all of the maps that we have are accurate in terms of what could happen on these overlayer type maps. It's a hard thing to say that 1,000 lots in West Maui that have already been through so much may have additional burdens placed on them, but I can appreciate what Member Cook said, that it's better to know before the thing happens and to take appropriate action before the impact of a flood through your house in the long run. And so, I think this is a necessary thing to pass. I was at the Energy Hui meeting last night, and plenty folks were asking me, why can't we just force everyone to do solar panels? Because it's for the good of the community, and there's concern about wires and evacuation routes and like that. And I don't disagree, but there is a cost to everything, and some of that cost sometimes turns into barriers to being able to rebuild. And so, while I understand that this bill also can have a cost, I think it's a safety, a prudent safety step, because when a flood is occurring and it goes through your house, it's definitely too late to take action at that time, and it's a big expense and danger to people. So I will vote in support. Thank you.
Any more questions? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Clerk.
Chair from the Water and Infrastructure Committee is CR 2523, recommending first reading of Bill 19, CD1, 2025, to authorize the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the U.S. Geological Survey for a groundwater availability study in West Maui.
Member Cook.
I move to adopt the recommendations in Committee Report 25-23.
Second.
Moved by Member Cook, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to approve the Committee Report 25-23 and its recommendations. Member Cook, discussion.
Thank you, members. Your Water and Infrastructure Committee met on March 17th, 2025 to discuss Bill 19. This agreement is vital to address the increased demand for groundwater due to Maui's population growth, which has surged by 300% since 1970. The study will be conducted in 3 phases. Phase 1, field reconnaissance, securing permits, designing the study, and developing monitoring well specifications. Phase 2, well monitoring and assessing the need for additional wells. Phase 3, drilling additional wells and collecting data. The total cost of the study is $180,000, with USGS contributing $30,000 and the Department of Water Supply and the State Commission of Water Resource Management each contributing $75,000. The agreement will span from October 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2025. The Department of Water Supply confirmed that no work or billing has occurred yet, and the department will need to return to the council if the timeline requires extension. This study will provide essential data for substantial water resource management, sustainable water resource management, and further future well development. And the committee expressed strong support for Bill 19 CD1. Your committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of Bill 19 CD1 2025 on first reading. I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Chair for the Water and Infrastructure Committee is CR 2524, recommending first reading of Bill 16, 2025, to authorize the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the State Department of Labor and Industrial Relations, Hawaii Occupational Safety and Health Division for the settlement of alleged violations at the Kihei Wastewater Reclamation Facility totaling $28,062.30.
Member Cook.
I move to adopt the recommendations in Committee Report 25-24.
Moved by Member Cook, seconded by Member Hodgins to approve the recommendations in Committee Report 25-24. Discussion, Member Cook.
Thank you, members. Your Water and Infrastructure Committee met on March 17th, 2025 to discuss Bill 16. The Director of Environmental Management informed the committee that HIOSH conducted a random inspection of the facility in July 2024 and identified 20 violations, all of which have since been addressed. Ongoing proactive efforts are being implemented to monitor other county wastewater facilities and may include contracting additional staff to assist with safety oversight. The total settlement amount is $28,062.30, reduced from an initial fine of $40,089, as the violations were not repeated, willful, or high-gravity serious violations. The facility demonstrated a good understanding of the corrective actions required and showed willingness to comply with the necessary safety protocols. Your committee voted 7-0 to recommend passage of Bill 16 on 2025 on first reading. I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to resolutions. Currently, we have no one signed up to testify on the resolutions, so we'll go ahead and give last call for any testimony on the resolutions. Chair counting down 3, 2, 1. There's no one else that wishes to testify.
Any objections to closing public testimony and accepting written testimony on resolutions?
No objections.
So ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. For referral to the Housing and Land Use Committee is Resolution 25-85, amending Resolution 22-193, CD1, FD1, to allow the Director of Housing to extend time deadlines for commencement of construction and completion of Kuikahi Village Workforce Housing Project.
Any objections to the referral of this item? Member Paulton.
If we refer this, then we might as well just file it, right? Because if the deadline, he said, was May 11th, we're not going to get to it till May 11th. So I was wondering the purpose of referring it.
Vice Chair Sugimura, did you have the answer to that question?
Well, I'm hoping that you allow a special meeting so that we could hear, HLU could have it, and then it can pass at your next council meeting.
Okay, let's hear from the chair of the HLU committee. Member Kama.
Would the chair allow the chair to have a special meeting for HLU?
Have I ever turned you guys down?
Never.
Never.
No.
I didn't know that's what you're planning, but is that what you're planning?
Yeah.
Okay. Member Johnson?
Chair, personally, I think we need to support projects like this, so I wouldn't mind passing on the floor.
Oh, okay. We're having a variety of opinions here. Any more? Different opinion? Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. A compromise between the two is we keep it on the clerk's desk and we have a special meeting and take it up after the special meeting to pass it because it's a reso, so it would only require one hearing. And then that way it wouldn't require a committee report and we can just do 7B.
Everybody like that idea? Well, Member Paulton?
I just would like to state for the record, as a part-time worker that's going to meetings days and nights in a row and not getting to see my family, I'm feeling overworked. Every single night, there's meetings all day, all night. And we had a memo that said all committee meetings were suspended. We had a public hearing when there was a 4:30 deadline on Friday, followed by a public hearing, followed by a 4:30 deadline on Monday, when we had binders this thick to read and another binder this thick to read. And some people say we don't read, and so maybe that's why it's okay. But I just would like to voice that for the record, that every day and every night there's meetings, there's requests for meetings, there's emails that need to be answered, and there's only so many hours in the day. And this part-time job feels like an 80-hour-a-week job. That's all I have to say.
Well, we all agree with you. Member Vice Chair Sugimura.
So I think you're talking about budget, and I want to just thank the council for ending our budget meetings earlier when we do the department deliberations. It takes everybody hard work and be focused. And thank you for attending the district meetings. That's optional, right, I guess. But I think that's valuable from what we've seen with with HANA, as well as my upcountry meeting where the community came forward. So I appreciate that. I mean, it's everybody's call what you want to do with this. I think member Rollins Fernandez's option is good if we don't want to have a committee report, if that's going to delay it, but or more work, I guess, for OCS. But that's another option and how we can, move this forward. But Kuikahi is important to all of us, and I've heard this for years and met with Mr. Carnicelli for years. And if we can figure out how to answer some of these unanswered questions, to me, that's valuable. But to me, I'm not ready to vote today because I want to know how he's going to get funded. He has to come back with his product mix, with his, I think it's 2.97. There's a lot of important questions, so we're not saying we're not supporting the project. I'm trying to say we support the project, and let's get more information on the table so that we can make a reasonable choice.
Member Paulton.
Chair, would it be okay to do the question part of the thing right now? Because if we have a 7B presentation and they don't have the answers, I mean, it's committee work on the floor. We're not going to make a decision today, but I have questions as well. And if they don't come with the answers, then a committee meeting during budget is further waste of our part-time hours that we're in working. Over the course of the past 2 years, Dowling came in, Dowling left. It was for sale, it was rental. Then there was something about a 201H. So, I'm not exactly sure what it is we're extending. Where we left off on all the changes over the past 2 years, and I do support deadlines for these type of things. We have a 201G in West Maui that precedes the 201H that's been on the book for decades. And, I would be supportive if they just built that thing already, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. So, I mean, I'm supportive of deadlines so that we don't have projects that my great-grandkids are going to be talking about that I approved or something, but I guess those would be my questions that I would like answered if we do have a special meeting on a special day. What are we extending? Because this project has gone through so much iterations, and we know on the national level that there's so much uncertainty if there's going to be a recession, if interest rates are going to drop. The critical time to have started was right after the project happened when they had the affordable housing funds. Now there's not the affordable housing funds, there's tariffs, there's all the things. I don't know that this is a better climate for the project than when it, in its iteration, than when it was approved. And so, I mean, those would be some of my questions that I hope a 7B presentation would address. And, I just got really confused when we were going in the Dowling direction, and like Dowling was advocating pulling Hagai money for this project, and then Hagai came for their money, and then it was like, oh no, that's off the table now, and it's just very difficult to keep up with this project that hasn't gone anywhere in 2 years.
The 201G you're talking about, is it the Pukolii project?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was there, yeah, with Abraham Lincoln. Okay, wait, okay, other people want to talk? Member Johnson?
Mr. Cornicelli kind of spoke something that's kind of important that I don't want us to forget, is that we're extending it to keep it alive. Will it be built next month? No, we know that. But we're just extending to keep it alive, and then those questions can be answered when our schedule isn't so bananas, and we do have time to really vet. Like Councilmember Paul said, a 7B might not even address some of our concerns. So this is just an extension to keep it alive. That's why I support the vote on the floor. But again, members, I know we're one team, one dream. I would hope that we could kind of look and understand the issue right here today is, do we want to extend it to keep it alive? That's where I'm coming from. Thank you, Chair.
Wait, let's see, other people have questions or comments before I come back to you this side? All right, so you, Vice Chair Sugimura?
Yeah, I just want to add to the list of questions to discuss in committee if that's going to be available to Member Kama. So at the legislature, there's DERF funding that is going through legislation. And I think there's an effort to try to see if that DERF funding, if it passes, can be used as a loan against this project. So there's some talk at the legislature to how to maybe apply this. And Mr. Carnicelli must know more than my little knowledge about it. So that's one. Number two is, what are his plans to get a new mix of his housing strategies? Because he has from tiny homes all the way to regular, 3-bedroom homes in his product mix. And then what is his funding stack that he's looking at? Because it looked like it got shattered after the $6 million from the affordable housing was pulled. And then I don't know who else he has, but wanting to know what all his funding strategy is. So those are the questions that I have regarding the likelihood of this project moving forward. And of course, we always want to know what the housing department has to say about it. Thank you.
Member Kama.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just kind of like perturbed that this didn't come to us sooner, because it could have. Because Mr. Carnicelli asked the department for an extension way back in September last year.
Oh.
And he knew, right, that we were going through the bifurcation, right, and that Remy was just starting to set up, right, his department. But he could have came to us anytime, October, November, December, January, and he didn't. And now here we are, pressed against time. He wants us to do it on the floor. I don't feel like getting into a fight with my council members because somebody wasn't on top of his own project to bring it to us in a timely manner. And I don't like feeling pushed against the wall and that all my members feel like, okay, now we're going to get into a battle about this. I hope not, but he could have came sooner and he didn't. And it's not on us. So I think that you should go to committee and let's ask all these questions because, he spoke earlier this morning about there's three solutions. He talked about the two of them, and I was wondering, so what's the third issue? I mean, because I tell you, this project is a great project. It's totally entitled, right? And if he decided that he wanted to walk away, he could sell it to somebody else and just walk away, right? Because it's totally entitled. It's very valuable. I don't know what he has in mind. I don't know what his plans are, but I certainly would like to know that.
Well,
so that's why.
I am open to. Actually, I would vote on it today. You know why? Because we've heard his presentation at least 1,000 times, And
know,
one
but
more
what did we
7B
settle
will
on?
just
What
send
did
me
we
straight to
settle on?
sleep. What?
What did we settle on? Is it a 201? Is it a 297? What is it? I mean, what are we looking at?
Well, those things have to be worked out over time. Yes, Member Rollins Fernandez, you have another compromise.
Mahalo, Chair. I do have another idea for everyone's consideration. How about we table this to the end of the agenda? We take up everything else, and then we do committee work on the floor, and we decide today.
All right, sounds good. Everybody okay with that? Okay. We already know it. I mean, you really want him to come to...
I mean, I have his phone number, so it doesn't matter to me, but if other people had questions, I can share
Okay,
his phone
you
number.
folks really have questions for him?
I think he should be here.
Okay.
Or not
Could you
here
ask him to be available online or come here? He's online. Okay, Lawrence, can you hang in with the council for a while and we'll take you up at the end of the calendar, which might be half an hour from now?
I will be here as long as you guys need, not a problem.
Okay, and short answers, okay, Lawrence? Member Rollins Fernandez?
Mahalo, Chair. And we all have his email. And so if, members wanted to send questions so that he can go and look up the answers in the next half an hour while we finish our council work, and then he'll be better prepared to provide us the answers when we take that item up at the end of the agenda.
Okay, let's do that because we might finish in 20 minutes because your motion is on like 6 or 7 at one time, right? Bills. Okay. Vice Chair Sugimura?
I would also like to ask, if we're going to do committee work on the council floor, could you please ask the housing director to also be present for questions? Based upon what Member Kama said.
Madam Clerk, can we ask the housing director?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So it seems to be that we have consensus to detain this until the end of the calendar. So, okay. Any objections to that? Okay, good. All right, Ms. Clerk, let's move it on the other where we left off.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to Resolution 25-86 for referral to the Water and Infrastructure Committee. The resolution is accepting dedication of roadway lots for the Kaimana at Kehalani subdivision, Kehalani Makai, Kehalani Mauka large lot subdivisions, Iliahi at Kehalani roadway lot subdivision, and for the subdivision of Site C1-11 of Wailuku Project District situated in Wailuku, Maui, Hawaii, pursuant to Section 3.44.015 Maui County Code.
Member Cook. And oh no, not Member Cook. Any objections to referring this to the Y Committee?
No.
Member Paulton.
Oh, just clarifying, the clerk said Kehalani Mauka, so that's the correct, what we're doing, not Makua?
Oh, Makai. Oh, it's Makai and Mauka.
No, it says Makua.
Oh, oops, sorry about that.
Oh, I see.
Makua.
I don't know what is correct, I'm not
I
sure.
just figured it was Makai.
She said Mauka, it says Makua, and there is a Makai.
Makua.
But there's no
What does
Mauka.
Makua mean?
Sorry about that.
Parent.
Parents?
Adult.
I mean, it's not that important because we're referring to, that is an action, but I'm not clear what.
Okay.
What's going on.
Yeah, thank you. We'll make that correction in committee. Right, members, any objections to referring this to the Y Committee? Okay, good catch, Member Paulton. All right, next item. Next item. Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution for referral to the Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee is Resolution 25-87, authorizing the transfer of an unencumbered appropriation balance within the Department of Police fiscal year 2025 budget.
Okay, Vice Chair Sugimura.
No objection to refer to my committee. And as you heard, Budget
Director said, okay.
Right?
All right, any objections, members, to referring this item, Reso 25-87, to the BFED committee?
No objection.
Thank you.
All right, so ordered. So now we're at 25, no ordinances.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No one has signed up to testify on the ordinances, so we'll go ahead and give last call. If anyone wishes to testify on the ordinances listed on today's agenda, please raise your hand in Teams or make your way to the podium. Counting down 3, 2, 1. Chair, there's no one else to testify.
Any objections to closing public testimony and accepting written testimony on ordinances?
No objections.
So ordered. Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Before you is Bill 47, 2025, a bill for an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the State of Hawaii Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, and the counties of Hawaii for the Hawaii Creative Economic Collaborative.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
I would like this referred to my committee if there are no objections. So request that 2587 be postponed and sent to the council's next meeting on April 17th. And I'll hear it on April 14th in my committee.
So this is Bill 47, so the first ordinance for, it's just up for first reading.
Wait.
Yeah, this only for first
I'm sorry.
reading.
I'm sorry. You're right. Sure. I move to pass Bill 47 on first reading.
Second.
Okay, moved by Vice Chair Sugimura, seconded by Pro Tem Kama to pass Bill 47 on first reading. Discussion, Vice Chair Sugimura.
Bill 47 authorizes the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental agreement for the Hawaii Creative Economy Collaborative. This agreement formalizes a shared strategy to develop Hawaii's creative economy by improving workforce development, strengthening small businesses, and coordinating film and media initiatives. Importantly, the ordinance only authorizes the agreement under Maui County Code Section 2.20.020 and does not increase the county's financial obligations or extend the agreement's duration. I respectfully ask for the members' support of this motion.
Any more discussion? Member Paulton.
Should I don't even remember this one, but Member Sugimura said that it doesn't increase the financial obligation. Is there a financial component to this intergovernmental agreement?
Vice Chair?
I read it, and it does not, is what it says. So it's kind of taking verbiage verbatim from the agreement. And it's really film commissioners from the whole state, I think, that are getting together to create this. The Hawaii Creative Economy Collaborative, and we all understand the value of the film industry. There's a lot more discussion that needs to happen. So if the members are not comfortable, you can send this to my committee. We can talk about it further, because these are the kind of questions I had when I first read it.
So you're saying there's no committee report where this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess my question would be, why do we need to pass it? Because if there's no financial component, can't they just do it on their own?
It's agreement.
This is intergovernmental agreement, Corp Council. Do you see Bill 47?
I do. Thank you, Chair. I'd have to look at it more closely. I didn't know it was going to become an issue. So if you like, I can take a look, but the bill is requesting council approval. So I'm assuming there must be some fiduciary or fiscal obligation here.
And then I guess my second question is this time sensitive?
No.
Do we know if it's time sensitive, Vice Chair Sugimura?
No, it's not time sensitive.
Okay. So, all right.
So I leave it.
Do you want to refer this to your committee?
Why don't you send it to my committee?
All right.
Everybody, we can get our questions answered. So those are the kind of questions I had when I read the document.
Why don't we just hold off on this one too? And somebody can make a quick call to Leslie. Just make sure it's not time sensitive. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, thanks. I do remember talking about this with the mayor's office and recommending that it come to council for approval. I think it may have been one that they wanted to have approved with just the mayor, and I think our department recommended that it come to council for approval.
For discussion.
So I believe that does have some fiduciary and financial obligations attached to it.
Member Paulson?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Member Rollins Fernandez?
Oh, mahalo, Chair. Section 2, or Section 1, it says 2.20.020 provides unless authorized by ordinance, the mayor shall not enter into any intergovernmental agreement or any amendment thereto which places a financial obligation upon the county or any department or agency thereof. And it does have like a section that talks about whereas the Maui, oh shoot, I lost it. Okay, well there I did see like an economic portion. Let me find it again. Sorry.
Member Paulson?
I just wanted to indicate that I was okay with your suggestion of holding it to the end of the thing.
All right. And then can somebody get the director online? Okay, members, if there's no objections, we'll just hold it till the end of the calendar, and in the meantime, we'll get the budget director to confirm.
No objections.
This time sensitivity of this matter. Okay, so ordered. So Ms. Clerk, moving on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to the ordinances for second and final reading. Before you is Bill 22, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025 budget for the County of Maui, estimated revenues, and Office of the Mayor Administration Program grant to Akaku.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
Chair, if there are no objections, may I please request the clerk also call bills 24 CD1, 32 CD1, 34 CD1, and 36, I gotta make sure I have the right number, 35 CD1 and 36, 2025.
Not 37 and 38.
And not 37 and not 38.
Okay. Ms. Clerk.
Right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bill 24, CD1, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025 budget for the County of Maui, estimated revenues, and Department of Fire and Public Safety Fire Rescue Operations Program. Bill 32, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025 budget for the County of Maui, Appendix A, Part 1, Department of Management, Community Development Block Grant, Disaster Recovery. Bill 34, CD1, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025 budget for the County of Maui, Office of the Mayor, Economic Development Program, Grants and Disbursements for Culture, Arts, and Tourism, Welugu Film Festival. Bill 35, CD1, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025 budget for the County of Maui, Appendix A, Part 2, General Excise Tax Fund, Wildfire Permanent Disposal Site, and Appendix C, Department of Management. And Bill 36, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025 budget for the County of Maui, Appendix A, Part 2, Managed Retreat Revolving Fund, Baldwin Beach Park.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
I move to pass Bill 22, 24, 32, Bill 34, CD1, 2025, Bill 35, CD1, 2025, Bill 36, 2025.
Second.
Okay. This
final reading.
It's been moved by Vice Chair Sugimura, seconded by Pro Tem Kama, to pass the bills 22, 24 CD1, 32, 34 CD1, 35 CD1, and 36 on second and final reading. Vice Chair Sugimura.
I have no other comments.
Any further discussion, members, on any of these bills? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And with your and the council members' concurrence, due to an inadvertent error in the listing on the agenda, our office is requesting that bills 37 and 38 be held for the next council meeting.
Any objections, members?
No objections.
To tabling Bill 37 CD1 and Bill 38, till the next council meeting.
Yes.
All right, no objections, so ordered. Unfinished business.
Thank you. Moving on to unfinished business. Currently, Chair, we have no one signed up to testify on that item, so we'll give last call, counting down 3, 2, 1. Chair, there's no one to testify on that resolution.
Any objections to closing public testimony on unfinished business and accepting written testimony?
No objections.
So ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is Resolution 25-80, authorizing the filing of an application with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, United States of America, for a grant under the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
If there are no objections, may I please request Resolution 2580 be postponed until the council's next meeting on April 17th, and I can explain.
Any objections, members, to postponing this item, Resolution 25-80, until the next council meeting on April 17th? Discussion. Did you have an explanation on that?
I do.
Oh, I just wanted to know the explanation.
Yeah, so the reason is because, as you know, CDBG is now, it used to be part of the mayor's office, and we had the mayor's deliberations on Tuesday, but this is now part of housing, and housing is coming to our budget committee next week, and when it does, then we'll hear this, and if you can hold this with the members' permission, and then pass it, if they so desire, at your next council meeting on the 17th.
That's the explanation?
Yeah, Housing Department is going to be presenting to us on April 10th. And so therefore, if the members would allow, after CDBG does present what this is, then we can pass it on the April 17th agenda. We've already arranged for CDBG to appear on the same day as Housing in BFED.
Any objections, members?
Thank you for the explanation.
So ordered. So what's going to happen is this resolution will be
held again,
tabled until the 17th meeting, council meeting, and meanwhile, you're going to take this up in your committee.
On the 10th, yeah.
On the 10th.
In Housing,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Going back to unfinished, we have 2 items we have to cover. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Regarding Resolution 2585, the Budget Office is finding a resource to be available for council. So did you want to move, let's see.
Chair.
Member Rollins Fernandez? Did you say something?
Well, Chair, I found the sections for the intergovernmental agreement that I had lost earlier under purpose A and E. And if we bring up that item, then I can read that section.
Good. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Recalling Resolution 25-85. No, I'm sorry, that's not it. Hang on.
I think that was Bill 47.
Thank you. Bill 47, 2025, a bill for an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the State of Hawaii Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism in the counties of Hawaii for the Hawaii Creative Economic Collaborative.
Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. So on page 2, under section 1, purpose, subsection A, shared marketing efforts. Formalize a state and county marketing plan on an annual basis, identifying the working relationship between county OEDs and state DBED and its creative industries division, CID, to share financial support for joint projects as determined by the parties, and subsection E, funding sources, as funds from the CID that I just said become available, whether general funds or from a special fund source such as HRS 201-113, the Hawaii Film and Creative Industries Development Special Fund, HFCF. The state will assist counties through advancing funds for shared costs to execute these economic development activities. They're identified herein. So in both subsection A and E, it talks about shared cost, and it doesn't explicitly say what our contribution would be in cost sharing for this. Oh, I see that Budget Director Milner just signed on as well. So perhaps I didn't find anything regarding the time frame of this. So maybe she can speak to that portion.
Okay.
And then we can find out a recommendation from Corp Council.
Budget Director, we're looking at Bill 47, and can you tell us if this matter is time sensitive? In other words, are you asking us to pass it out today?
Thank you, Chair. That is not my bill, but I did speak to staff from Chief of Staff's office, and it seems this is something we've been trying to resolve for some time. So if the body is willing to consider floor action today, it would be appreciated. I am also working with the staff to get some resources online if you do choose to proceed with floor action.
Members, do you have questions for the director? Member Paulton and then Vice Chair Sugimura.
Thank you. I guess my first question is, what is our financial commitment? Because the whole reason we're being asked to vote on this is because there is a financial commitment, but then we don't know what the financial commitment is, so it's kind of odd. And then I see Luana Mahi's name crossed off here on page 5 of the agreement or something. So who would be the entity that, or who would be signing for the County of Maui? Would it just be the mayor, like how? Or
Director?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councilmember Paulton. Yes, I believe as this agreement is to allow the mayor to enter into this agreement, sorry, that's redundant, it would be the mayor who signed.
Okay, I mean, I do see a place for the mayor to sign on page 6 or 5. And then, oh, this is weird. There's a 5 and a 5. So then, is this even it's not, it looks like the papers are not numbered correctly because there's a page 5 with Luana Mahi. Are we replacing it with the page 5 with the mayor's signature?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councilmember Paulton. Yes, that is the intent, that the old signatory page will be replaced by the new signatory page with the mayor's signature.
And then there's 3 page 6s. So, I mean, it's a little confusing. I can understand we're replacing the page 5 with the crossed out stuff, but which of the 3 page 6s are we?
Well, I think Corp Counsel wants to chime in here.
Okay.
Thank you. So, yeah, this has been discussed with the administration for a little while. And as you can see, for example, Mitch Roth is no longer the mayor of Hawaii County. So it has lingered for a while. Our recommendation was obviously to place the mayor's signature on there. It doesn't really matter if the director of OED signs. The mayor under the charter is the person who binds the County of Maui. That may not be true for the other counties. They may have different charter provisions. My strong recommendation, however, is to refer this for further discussion and cleanup mostly. Not so much discussion, it is what it is, but if you have specific questions about the financial obligation, they should answer those. But I'd like to see the signatures a little bit more cleaned up now that enough time has gone by, that we have different players. That would be our department's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm definitely supportive of cleaning things up. I don't like to put my name to sloppy work, but I guess the main question at some point before I vote would be, what is our financial commitment, or along those lines, because the only reason we're voting on it is because it has a financial aspect, and if we don't know the financial aspect, then I don't feel comfortable voting.
Okay. Well, Vice Chair Sugimura.
I mean, great discussion. Can send it to my committee and we can clean it up.
Members, any objections to referring this to the BFED committee? No? So ordered.
No objections.
Thank you. Now we're down to one.
Chair, I believe Deputy Mataafa is online.
Oh, good.
All right. Ms. Clerk, can you bring it up?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just before we leave Bill 47, there was a motion made by Vice Chair Sugimura and seconded by Member Kama. Could we have that motion withdrawn, please?
Okay. Those who made motions, could you please withdraw? Okay, so we'll do, that's a technical term.
Mike.
Vice Chair has withdrawn her motion, and the Pro Tem Kama is withdrawing her second. Anything else? Ms. Clerk?
Nope, that's it.
Okay,
Thanks.
let's move on to the last item.
So returning to Resolution 25-85, amending Resolution 22-193, CD1, FD1, to allow the Director of Housing to extend time deadlines for commencement of construction and completion of Kuikahi Village Workforce Housing Project. And Deputy Director Saumalu Mataafa is on the line.
Deputy Director, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Chair Lee, and thank you, Council, for having me here today. I don't have any extensive comments, but the department is in support of allowing the Kuikahi project to extend the timelines and deadlines that were specified in the resos that are mentioned in Resolution 2585, and I'm here to answer any questions if the Council has any.
Member Paulton has a question.
What is the recommended extension, like 1 year, 2 years?
I think 2 years would be the recommended extension for us. So moving the previous dates by 2 years would be appropriate from the Department of Housing's perspective. So I don't know if we have it in here. I think we have it in the whereas clauses. As of May 9th, 2023 is when the Bill 127 passed. So we'd recommend 2 years to start construction from that date, and then two additional years to complete construction from 2025. So it'd be a total 2027 would be when we'd be requesting construction complete.
You mean construction initiated by May 9th, 2027? Initiate construction
Correct.
by May 9th, 2027?
Thank you, Councilmember. Yes, that's correct.
And then complete by May 9th, 2032?
I think 2029 would be the 2 years after that. Let me just see.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Yep.
I got it. Thanks.
29. Yeah.
Any more questions for the deputy? We have Member Rollins Fernandez, then Vice Chair, then Pro Tem.
Excuse me, Council Chair.
Mahalo. Yeah.
Staff would just note the effective date of Ordinance 5518 was May 11, 2023. Thank you.
So the extension would be?
As opposed to May 9.
Okay. All right. So we have Member Rollins Fernandez has a question.
Mahalo, Chair. Just one question for now to dovetail off of Member Bolton's question. The second to the last whereas clause on the resolution does say the 2 years. Is there a reason that a date wasn't put there to just make things clear?
Mr. Mataafa.
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Rollins Fernandez. I don't have an explanation for that. In hindsight, we would have put a date, but we're glad we're here to talk with you folks today about inserting those dates, if that's okay.
Okay, great. So you would support putting a date?
Correct, yes.
May 11, 2027?
May 11, 2027 for the initiation of construction, and then May 11th, 2029 for the completion of construction would be the department's recommendation.
Excuse me, Chair.
Mahalo, Deputy Director. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Nakata.
Ms. Nakata.
Staff would also note that the Resolution 22-193 provided 2 years from the effective date of Ordinance 5518 for the start of construction, but 5 years as opposed to 4 years for the completion of the project.
Okay. Chair, will you ask Ms. Nakata to have the dates prepared for after, if we do take action on this, so that we can make the amendments and put the dates into that whereas clause section?
Ms. Nakata, did you hear the request?
Yes, staff would just need clarification as to whether the body's intent would be to provide an additional 2 years from what was previously due or until, or an additional 1 year.
I don't know, I think we would have followed the original timeline, except now we're changing the date, so everything would move accordingly.
Chair?
Yes.
The whereas clause reads, whereas in light of outside events, Kuikahi Properties LLC has requested an additional 2 years to commence construction on the project and an additional 2 years to complete the project to provide necessary flexibility. For clarification.
Oh, so they're asking for a 2 in addition to what they already would have had.
So would it be 2 years on top of the 5 years from 22-193, or 2 years on top of the 4 years indicated in an earlier whereas
Let's
clause?
ask the deputy, what is your understanding, Deputy Matahava?
Thank you, Council Chair Lee, for that question. And the intent here is to stick with the dates that I've identified. So the recommendation with what I identified, which is 2 years from 2025, May 11th, 2025, which gets us to May 11th, 2027, and that gives them time to initiate the construction. And then 2 years from May 11th, 2027 to complete construction, which would get us to May 11th, 2029. So that's the department's recommendation on this resolution.
Mahalo, Deputy. Mahalo,
Everybody
Chair.
okay with that? Yes, Member Cook.
Thank you. I'd like to weigh in, and I'm not in agreement with 2 years for the construction. There's just too many variables in the supply chain and everything else. The 2 years to get it started and 5 years for construction, I think, is more pragmatic and practical. I would very much like to get it done sooner, but to box a project in that we're really supportive of and a abbreviated completion time, I think that you're going to get potentially quality issues and a lot of other things if you're rushing the thing. So I would prefer, my preference, 2 years extension to get it started, 5 years to build, which was, I believe, what it was originally, and a very firm no more extensions.
Okay. Ordinarily, I would ask for a motion, but I'd rather not because, there's still a lot of questions in the air. So we'll get to a motion soon. Member Paulton and then Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. I don't necessarily have a problem with Member Cook's recommendation, but I would like to hear from the department the rationale for not sticking with the 2.5 that was originally passed, and their reason for going with the 2.2. I remember when I first came on the council and I said, like, what if they get their entitlements and they don't finish within the 5 years or whatever the allotted time frame was. And I do recall that we could give an extension once they're under construction. So if the main, I think, concern is the beginning of construction and not necessarily the ending of construction. Because if they're in the middle of building housing and they miss their ending construction date, it's not gonna, I doubt at that point we would just say, leave the houses half completed and walk away. But I'm open to hearing from our deputy director as to their rationale for the recommendations on time.
Deputy Director.
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Paulton. And typically what we've seen is once you start construction, it goes up, it pretty much completes within 2 years. So it leaves the door open that for you folks that we can always come back for another extension if we have to. I don't want to get to that point, but what we've seen with other projects is once they start construction, that usually aligns with them closing on all their financing, so they have the funding to move forward. That 2 years seems reasonable once you start construction to also move forward. Now, Councilmember Cook does bring up a good point that there's lots of external factors that we do have to consider, but if all their ducks are in a row when they start construction, as far as financing goes, they should have enough time within that 2 years to complete construction, barring anything crazy that may or may not happen.
And then if the crazy may or may not happens, the the solution we have available to us at that time would be to extend the finish timeline.
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Paulton. And yes, we can always come back to council if there's some extenuating circumstance where they can't complete after they initiate construction, where we can ask for another extension from the county council.
And by that time, the Department of Housing should be so well set up that people wouldn't put in a request in September and we hear it in March, right?
That's correct.
Okay, just verifying.
Member Johnson and then Member Cook.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to hear from Mr. Cornicelli. He is available for a resource, and how does that timeline work for you?
Mr. Cornicelli?
Thank you for the question, Council Member. We are okay with whatever the will of the body is.
Well, the will of the body is we really want you to get started. So, I mean, if you don't mind me stepping out on a limb here, we really need housing as soon as possible. So thanks for that response. Thank you, Chair.
Member Cook.
I don't have any problem with reversing what I previously said, because the housing department, what they said, and the council having the latitude to approve it underway if necessary is fine.
All right, it sounds like if you don't have any more questions, Member Pro Tem Kama.
I have questions from Mr. Conatelli.
Go ahead.
So how much additional money do you need to make the project pencil?
Well, thank you for the question, Member Kama. I think it is, I'm going to keep it short because I know I tend to wax poetic a little bit, is where we're at currently is we have reached back out to the Dowling Company to try to work on this project with us, because right below this project, they are putting in this phase 2 of DHHL homes. So they're going to be mobilized. They're going to be there. They're going to be actually already, working. Could they just, move north? And so we've been talking to Everett and his team, and they are very, very close to having all of their ducks in a row. And that is to answer, say, Member Paulton's question. I reached out to Everett. He is a very, very busy individual, but he's actually on the line right now. And I don't want to speak to his product. And so if you don't mind, I would have maybe Everett speak to what it is that they're doing. And he might be able to answer some of those.
The question was, how much additional money do you need to make your project pencil?
Everett would know the answer to that question better than I am, because he's the one that is doing what's coming. As it sits now, it's about 35 million is what we need.
Pro Tem Kama, do you want to speak to Mr. Dowling?
No, I have other questions from Mr. Conatelli.
Okay.
Do you need to change the nature of your project to get it closer to penciling out?
Yes, ma'am.
How much of a change?
Reducing the number of units and the mix of units. It's currently 7 different home types and 54 buildings. It's probably reducing it to about half and making it more of a single family and or duplex product.
Do you have all of that lined up to go?
We are efforting that right now.
Okay, one more. Would any changes in the type and nature of the housing units proposed essentially invalidate the entitlement that you have?
We do not believe so. We feel it's important to work within the parameters of the current entitlements that we have, to not have to reset the process all over again and cost us time.
Okay, that's all my questions for Mr. Conatelli.
Did you have questions for somebody else?
No.
Oh, okay. Member Paulton, and then Vice Chair Sugimura.
Thank you. For Mr. Carnicelli, what is, so at one time it was for sale, and then I heard talks about rental. Can you go down how many units you're proposing and all of those specs? Is it possible? Like if it's for sale, what was the deed restriction? What was the price point and all of that? Was that part of the bill so it cannot change, or it can change?
Thank you, Member Paulton. The entitlements that we were granted were via 2.97, which is 100% workforce housing. It is a for sale product. It is a for sale project ranging from 80% of AMI up to 140% of AMI. It is a mixed use, 7 different home types and 54 buildings. That's what the current entitlements are. What's before you today is just to take exactly everything that you granted before unanimously and just give us an additional 2 years to be able to initiate.
So just clarifying, 100% for sale, 80% to 40% AMI, was there a deed restriction and a price component in the bill?
It is a 10-year deed restriction, and then there's also an owner occupied in perpetuity component to the deed restriction.
And was there a price point guarantee or no?
No, it's just as per the
tied
code.
to the previous funding or something, or no, not at all?
No, it's just as per the code.
Okay, so just to clarify, if we grant the extension, all those things that you said, 2.97, 100% workforce housing, for sale, 80 to 140% mixed use, 7 home types, 54 building, 10-year deed, and owner occupied in perpetuity continues on?
Yes, ma'am.
And
As I understand it, that is correct.
There isn't any thought with Dowling to amend any of that?
Like I said, I think what we've been trying to do is to work within that. It may not be exactly 202 units and 54 buildings and 7 home types, but it will still conform to what the approvals are. I think you'd have to talk to either the deputy director or the director as to whether or not it would have to come back to you for approvals of what the change might be.
And if it's not 202, are you thinking of more homes or less homes?
It would only be less. It would never be more.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
Thank you. I mean, I agree with you. We want this project to happen. Thank you very much, Mr. Carnicelli. And one of the questions that I asked is about your funding. So what does your funding stack look like, your financial stack today?
Today there's a shortfall of about $35 million. We have talked to HHFDC about, you had mentioned the DERF funds. There are different funds that are happening at the state ledge right now, and that's why, there's a certain urgency on that end. And they are looking at an aspect of, what you say, where it'd be sort of a loan. It would be funding, but there would be the amount that was funded would come back upon resale.
Yeah, that's the DERF funds. It still didn't pass the legislature, so we're all watching. It's a tool. Do you have water?
Yes, we do.
Access to water. You have access to water as long as you keep the 2.97?
Correct.
Okay. I heard that that was questionable. So is that correct, Department? Does this project have water?
Deputy Director Matava.
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Sugimura. That would really be a better question for the Department of Water Supply, whether it has water or not.
Okay. So how do you deal with that?
How do we get the water?
Can we call them and ask them? Because that's kind of huge, right? No water, no.
I think we already approved that project, so we're talking about just a time extension. And if they have problems with the project going forward, they're going to have to come back to us.
Okay, then is Mr. Darling on the call? I heard Mr. Carnicelli said Mr. Darling was on the call.
Mr. Darling, are you there?
I don't see him.
You don't see him? He's on?
Oh, he is.
Mr. Darling, can you mention
maybe a
your
resource?
question?
Oh, there. Hi.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We can have him as a resource to answer.
Well, we've had many people already, so what's another one?
Mr. Dowling. All right. So Mr. Carnicelli can ask you the question, but he's saying that you may take over the project.
Councilmember Sujimori, yes, we're looking at it now. It's been a challenging, fun puzzle to put together. As mentioned before, we're doing the DHL project immediately adjacent to this. We've looked at 5 different product types. We've run a number of site plans, engineering on 5 different product types. Where we are now is a 50 duplex, 100 duplex, 100 units in 50 buildings, plus 6 ADA units, so it'd be 106 units. Now we're trying to get the public assistance ask down from 35 million to the neighborhood of 15 million. It would continue to be for sale. It would require less water. It would have less impact than the prior proposal, and it's just more efficient to build. It's just having basically 2 product types to build. Really, and the bulk of that is similar product type. It just makes it much more efficient to build, and that gives us the ability, that and the lower unit count gives us the ability to reduce the shortfall. And our target shortfall is $15 million, and as Lawrence mentioned, it would be a for sale product.
Okay, so then it's no longer a 2.97 project? It was for sale, the whole? Did I misunderstand?
I believe it was always represented as a for sale product.
I thought it was a workforce development project.
It is for sale at workforce housing prices.
Oh, okay. Oh, the pricing. So your shortfall is 50 million versus what Mr. Carnicelli was projecting at 35 million. So how do you?
That's our target shortfall. That is what we are working towards based upon the input that we've heard from HHFDC that regarding the DERF funding.
So the 15 million would come from the DERF funding, or will it come from another source?
We're hoping it comes partially from the county and partially from the HHFDC.
Would you be able to meet the deadlines as described? Because we're talking about this reso, and by 2027, you would have all of this resolved so that construction can commence?
Correct.
2027 is the date. So you would be able to do that, put the pieces together?
Correct.
Okay, done for me.
Pro Tem Kama?
This is for Mr. Downing now. Did you say that at some point in time that you might come back to the county for funding?
We're about 2 weeks away from having our subcontractor pricing. We received pricing, Councilman Nakama, about a week and a half ago, and we noticed some of the pricing, some of the line items struck us as rather high. So we asked the contractor to go back and talk to the original subcontractor that they got pricing from, also reach out to some other subcontractors and come back to us with a revised, hopefully lower cost to construct the units. We anticipate having their pricing back by next week from today. And at that point, we'll be able to quantify where we are in terms of the shortfall and then solve for the shortfall once we quantify it. We're hoping and we're expecting that it's going to be more in the $15 million range. And it could be a situation where there's DERF funds made available to the project, which would come back to the state when the units are subsequently sold by the original buyer.
Okay. So my last question. So the Department of Fine Homelands has developed a water development plan to drill up country to run the water to South Maui and then run it back over to the DHHL projects on the Wailuku side. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So is some of that water going to be used for this project?
No. That water is those wells would satisfy and be used for DHHL's projects in Central Maui and one DHHL project in South Maui.
Right. Come on. Okay. That's all the questions I have now.
Okay, any other question? Well, for now, we're going to be voting on it in any second now. Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. Like Member Sugimura, I remember this project being proposed as a rental project, and that was on November 1st, 2023. The project in Wailuku was originally going to make 202 diverse houses for sale, everything from tiny homes to 4-bedroom, 2-bath residences. But due to high interest rates, the landowner, John Varela, says that is no longer economically feasible, and the development needs to be changed from an ownership model to a rental model. And then that was presented to us. So I don't understand why, Mr. Dowling, you're saying that it was never a rental model, because that's what it was presented as in 2023.
Councilmember Rollins Fernandez, let me clarify my statement. I believe as it was originally presented, it was a for sale product. And as it was originally approved, it was approved for a for sale product. In 2023, we looked at, we were approached, we looked at converting that to a rental project. And once again, we're trying to solve to get the public assistance down. So that did not work. It did not move the needle enough to make it a viable project. So now we're back at the, as approved, the for sale product.
Okay, and so that's why some of the council members are asking, like, there's been so many presentations, like I don't even know. I seen Mr. Carnicelli recently, I can't remember where, and I was saying what the project was, and he corrected me, and it's not clear. And if it's not clear for us, then it's definitely not clear for the public, and we definitely need to have a discussion. I think I would be okay with extending the deadlines, and I don't know if, like, we put a condition on the deadline. I would like to know what the project is, and maybe you can clearly state it today, and that would be great.
We have a couple of people that wish to speak now before Mr. Dowling answers. Corp Counsel, did you want to take it up now? Okay.
Yeah,
Corp
just
Counsel?
very quickly, I'm hoping this adds clarity, but the original resolution, 22-193, had in it all of the representations of all of the specs and what you folks approved. The law is clear that if there are substantial changes to that, they must come back to you. So I don't know that you really need to place conditions today on that. They cannot proceed with a substantially different project without your approval, further approval from that. So I think Mr. Carnicelli was trying to make that point. And I just wanted to add that you have that assurance that this project cannot morph into something that you did not approve in the original reso without further council consultation. Thank you.
And then
Chair, could she repeat the reso number, please? What was the reso number?
Thank you. It's in the current resolution. It is 22-193 CD1, FD1.
Okay, and then the Deputy Director wanted to say something quickly too. Mataba.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I didn't realize that First Deputy Corporation Counsel also had her hand up, but I was going to repeat what she just said to you folks, that what you guys are approving today is the extension for the original project as proposed.
Right. Yeah, and not the design of the project. Right. Okay, so did you want Mr. Dowling to respond, even though you got responses from 2 other people? Member Rollins Fernandez?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please, I don't.
Mr. Dowling, go ahead.
Mahalo.
Councilmember Roslyn Fernandez, we're happy to come back. We're happy to come back. Actually, we look forward to coming back and showing you what the thoughts are, showing you what the project is, and showing a comparison of the original presentation that was made years ago and what we've come up with.
So it's the 202 residential workforce housing units for sale. That's the mixed use. That's the tiny homes, and for that original one.
That was the original proposal, original presentation that the project was approved upon, yes. And what we are currently looking at is 50 duplexes, which equates to 100 units, plus 6 ADA units in addition to the duplex units. Those ADA units will be single-family detached.
Okay, that's clear to me now. Mahalo, Chair. Mahalo, Mr. Dowling.
Right. Member Paulton.
Thank you. I just had a question in relation to what the 2 deputies wanted to say. So when it comes down from 54 buildings, 7 home types to 50 duplexes plus 6 ADA, a change of 202 to like 106, is that considered a substantially different thing that if we grant this extension, then we have to go back and amend the ordinance or something?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever knows the answer.
The answer is yes.
That's I guess
And then
somebody.
you can hear it from Corp Council too.
Yeah, I guess.
So, thank you, Chair. So the original reso is consistent with the law, and it says the project's final plans and specs will be approved unless they substantially deviate as determined by the Director of Housing. Based on the representation today, our department would construe that as a substantial deviation and would recommend that the Director support bringing that back to you for additional discussion.
Thank you. And then I seen Miss Deputy Mataafa raise his hand as well. Can we hear?
Again? Deputy?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember Paulton. We would likely make the same determination that it would need to come back for council review.
Yeah.
If it changes.
Okay. I think I've heard all the information. The key clincher for me to support an extension is that this is workforce housing for sale, owner occupied in perpetuity. So our workforce is going to be able to own their home, and when they sell it, they'll sell it to the next person who will own their home. And it's unfortunate it may not still be at workforce housing prices, but my knowledge of the Wailuku Kahului area is it's less of a transient population than say South and West Maui. And so I don't think the affordability component would get as out of control as it does in my district and Member Cook's district, just because a lot of our workforce lives here. There's a lot of government jobs available. So I am supportive of the extension primarily due to 100% workforce housing. owner occupied for sale is what I've heard people want. I know that we do a lot of rentals, and I'm not opposed to that, but I think we got to do some for sale, and the component of owner occupied in perpetuity makes me willing to take this chance.
Okay. We're ready to vote.
Okay, just vote.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
Could staff ask whether it's okay to read into the record the revised resolution to make sure we have all the amendments?
Sure.
I believe there are a number of revisions that are needed to the resolution.
Only the date from the 9th to the 11th or something? And the year?
There's a number of technical revisions that are also necessary, Chair. And normally we'd like to write that up in a formal ASF, but because of the unanticipated floor action, we didn't have a chance to do that. So that was our suggestion for transparency and clarity, to have the resolution read into the record, but it's the body's preference.
Yeah, let's do transparency and clarity.
Oh, we can table this till the next council meeting.
Okay, make it correct.
All right?
Is that-
Yes.
Okay, everybody?
Yeah.
Because we're not going to do it now, I can tell you right now. So if we can have the staff fix it by the next council meeting.
17.
I'm sorry. Member Rollins Fernandez?
Mahalo, Chair. I support your recommendation. I was just curious what procedure would be followed. Would it be a county communication with an ASF with the amendment to amend this bill, and it would be under unfinished business? Or would we post a new resolution in its entirety?
Well, let's hear from our attorney, Carla. I would imagine this would be unfinished business, and that the changes can be made on the floor at the next council meeting.
As an ASF, I'd love to have it in writing beforehand.
David?
Thank you, Chair. One option we could consider is having both the original resolution posted under unfinished business, and then have the proposed CD1 version incorporating what was discussed today, along with the technical revisions for the body's consideration. And I'll also have that on the agenda. Thank you.
FD1, floor. Yeah, floor draft.
Okay, members, did you hear that? Any objections to Mr. Rotz's suggestion?
No objection. Clarification, it will be on the agenda, correct?
Yes.
The FD1? Okay.
Okay, so the subject is going to be tabled till the next council meeting, and the corrections will be worked on by staff and presented at that council meeting. And if we can get anything ahead of time, then, let's try and do that. Well, you'll get it at least at posting. Any more questions on this matter as we...
Chair?
Yes, Member Rollins Fernandez?
Mahalo, Chair. So Member Kama asked about funds, I think 36 million. How much has already been committed, and and are we gonna get a budget amendment or for additional funds? I'm sorry, that part wasn't super clear for me before we move on.
Deputy Matava?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Member Rollins Fernandez, for the question. There's currently no affordable housing funds for this project. So there's no allocation for this project out of the Affordable Housing Fund.
Okay, so at no time in the past did we appropriate funding to support this project, so there's no funding ever, but Mr. Carnicelli said that he's possibly going to be requesting 36 million to support this. I'm sorry, that's not clear.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember Rollins Fernandez, for the question. So there was $6 million appropriated in FY 24's budget for this project. And then in FY 2024, in the mid-year cycle, the administration requested from the council to remove the funding in FY 2024 for the project, and we would put that funding in the FY 25 budget proposal at the budget session. So the Bill 35 from FY 2024 was that budget amendment that removed the funding for Kuikahi's project. And then the council passed that bill. The mayor put the funding back in the budget for FY 2025 in April of last year. And then my recollection is that funding didn't pass at the council level. So there's currently no funding in the budget for the Kuikahi project.
Okay, and then the last part is about the 36 million. That was not clear when Member Kama asked about like, so how much money are you going to be requesting from the county for this project?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember Rollins Fernandez, for the question. We aren't currently asking for any funding for the project. I would defer to Mr. Carnicelli to address the 35 million piece.
Okay, and I would defer to somebody else because it's time to close this meeting, yeah? And we don't want to get into the details of it because the issue today is the timeline, extending the time. And you already heard that they're contemplating changes. So there's no sense talking about money at this point or any other details. Okay? Member Paulton.
Okay, Chair.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just had one clarification. You guys wouldn't be applying for DR funds, right? Because Lahaina really needs to rebuild.
Did you hear that question? So, okay, Mr. Dowling, I guess, did you hear the question about, are you planning to apply for DR funds, CDBG DR funds? Do you know what that is?
Councilmember Paulton and Council Chair Lee, yes, we will, but not for this project. We are working on several projects in the burn zone in Lahaina that we hope to be applying for DR funds, but not for this project.
She meant for this project.
Thank you.
Okay. So not the motion, but I'm asking you to agree to, if you have any objections to tabling this matter until the next council meeting.
No objections.
Okay, so ordered.
We get clarity.
So that brings us to the end of the calendar, Ms. Clark? Okay. All right, members, we have finished our business for today. Have a wonderful weekend and a safe one. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.